What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of What Did Adam Say? Season 4, Episode 5 already. Very excited for tonight. This whole season has just been packed with such intelligent, thoughtful, and creative people. And I'm very excited to bring you tonight's conversation with my friend Jon Macdougall from Big Grown Farms. I met him a couple years back when we were both breaking ground with our hemp projects, and we were both talking about really big ideas and making them come to fruition, and he's done that more so than I have, honestly, and I can't wait to talk more about that. He's gotten huge into plant medicine and really, understanding your body and healing your body with plants. So I can't wait to talk about that. Y'all know I love that. And we'll talk about NFTs like we do every show because we have to. So without further ado, let's get this shit started, guys.
Wait, what am I doing? Created a movement, won't ruin what you are pursuing. But I wake up every morning, never yawning, cause I wake up with the intent to make today my bitch. And I don't need to hear you talking, so just shut your lips. Cause I'ma make it, yeah, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, I'ma make it. Lord have mercy, I'ma make it. I wake up with the intent to make today my bitch. And I don't need to hear you talking, so just shut your lips. I'ma make it. Yeah, I'ma make it, I'ma make it, I'ma make it. Lord have mercy, I'ma make it up. This shit is crazy, right? This shit is crazy, right?
This shit is crazy, right? It's been way too long, brother. How the hell have you been?
Good. How are you, Adam?
I'm fucking great. Tired. I was just telling you before the show got started, like I haven't stopped moving 12 hours basically, and that's just the life. We grind sun up to sundown.
Yeah. Actually, after I do this, I gotta go put the chickens and the ducks away.
Dude, I really wanna. I saw your idea with the turning the trailer into a chicken coop, so that way you could take it around like each one of your fields. I really want to fucking do that. Like I told my fiance, I'm like, babe, I'm thinking about getting 6 chickens for my acre next year.
It's funny because we started, we've been talking about the homesteading thing for a while, and then I've been growing food for probably the last like 4 or 5 years pretty steadily, and like saving seeds and really getting into the idea of like climatizing genetics and really understanding that.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day we kind of were just like, let's go get some chickens and some ducks, and we got some goats, and we're breeding the goats. We're gonna get goat milk and try to make some like skincare products with that. Sell the kids. They're all registered. We're gonna do duck eggs, chicken eggs, and we're just growing a lot of food. So we just did about like 1,000 square feet in the backyard this year, and then we realized that this is definitely something that we wanted to pursue more. So we actually just rented a couple acres in the town over of agricultural land, and that's where we're going to be doing the chicken coop idea. We're going to be moving the chickens out of the backyard and bringing them over to the farm. And I really got into all of this more so in the past probably 2 or 3 months, when I found out about this rancher named Gabe Brown. And he is literally just like a wealth of information. I've watched countless, interviews and lectures. And it's just amazing what he's doing, and like the ideology and the science behind it. And it's just, he's got proof, and he's in North Dakota, I mean, he's growing peaches and selling peach jam up there for, $8-9 yeah, it's because nobody else is growing jams up there. I mean, peaches up there, it's like this guy has like converted his soil. It's so healthy to the point where he's extended his growing season, and he's growing things that are not like very natural to like that climate.
I did not even know that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing what this guy's done over the past like 20, 30 years of going from conventional farming and then turning into completely no-till regenerative agriculture. And it's like, I mean, I've been growing food and cannabis and hemp for 15 years, and it's like I literally feel like I've been, playing on the, playground this entire time. Like this is like real stuff. This is like really you got to understand what you're doing when you're doing it. And it's crazy because like I literally thought that I was like a good grower. I thought I knew a lot. I thought I was doing a lot of the right things, and like I just was like the more I read, the more humbled I became, and I was like, wow, like we got a lot to do.
There's so much to do, especially around here. I feel like like the farmer I work with, he's like, "What are you doing putting your cover crop in the ground without tilling?" And I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'm not tilling anymore. I told you that." He's like, "You got to do something." He's like, "At least let me chop down most of the weeds." I was like, "Okay. I mean, if you want to chop them down to like 2 inches, I'm with that." So he
yeah,
did that, and then I planted my cover crop into it, and I just did winter rye this year. I didn't want. This is my first year ever doing cover crops, and I only have the acre, so I just did winter rye. There's already a bunch of weeds there that I kind of am okay with. They
yep,
don't go more than like knee high, so during the season, it's like perfect cover for the soil to keep the moisture in and
yep.
uh, not really disturb the root system of the hemp plants.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm learning about like the high diversity of the cover crop. I mean, I like again, like we just rented this 2 acres and I just went like crazy with it, and we planted 23 species of cover crops in an already pretty diverse field. So like we got the soil, we took a soil test and we got it back, and the soil levels were pretty low. Like the organic matter levels were like, I want to say there were 2.8. Hold on.
He's like, I got it on the board.
I do. They were 3.8. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I got a board with all the soil test results up there, but yeah, it just came like it looks good. They've been, it's been like conservation land, conservation. But they've been, they don't like spray it or anything, but they heavily hay it.
Oh,
And I mean, which like, haying isn't like a bad thing, but if you're like heavily haying it, it could be like, detrimental. And I mean, we've planted the seed like 2 weeks ago. I think this Saturday will be 2 weeks. And you can already tell the difference between the other acres that are just hayed and then the one that we seeded out with a cover crop. Like it's already like like everything is green through and through. Like you can already see like multiple like different sprouts coming up. You can see the oats coming through. So it's pretty cool. And like these guys must have thought we were absolutely insane because like we actually like we like just got into the rental right after they hate it. So like I wanted them to like literally just leave it. Like I wanted them to cut it and just leave it so it would decompose and start adding more carbon. And like it was just like I was like, wow. So they literally just cut this, baled it, like took it off, and then I went and fucking got cover crop seed and then covered the cover crop seed with alfalfa hay. So I literally brought bales of hay to the 2 acres and then spread hay on top of it after like literally a week after they had just hayed it. And they're like in the other fields, like looking at me like, what the fuck is this kid doing? Like we literally just hayed it, and he's literally bringing bales of hay and spreading it out on the field. But I mean, already in these 2 weeks, we've already seen most of that hay is decomposed right into the ground because it's like it doesn't provide much armor as far as like leaving like residue on the top. Like all of it almost fully decomposed already. And like that's what's really helping activate like the fungal bacteria ratio for the germination of the cover crop. And like that's why we're seeing such like quick results with the germination, is that like, you know, when that activity in the biology network is really going, that ups that fungal ratio, the fungal to bacteria ratio, and that's really what a seed needs for germination. That's another thing that I learned, you know, watching the Gabe Brown thing, is that he breaks it down. He breaks down seed germination, and basically NPK has like nothing to do with it. Like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium plays like literally less than 1% in the germination of a seed. It all has to do with the fungal and bacteria ratio.
In the pH, right?
Yeah. So like those three things, like when those are like really working together, and you have things decomposing, and then, you know, nutrients being released, that fungal to bacteria ratio increases. And when that increases, your seeds will germinate so much faster. And so like I had already been doing my gardening in the backyard before I've been, you know, really like learned all this. And this was like my first year going like completely organic. I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, try to build like it's weird because I had already like been on this like kick, and that's kind of what drove me to find Gabe Brown. But like this was the first year I never added any, like I didn't add anything. You know, I built soil, and then every time after we like canned or something and we had excess like tomato or pepper scraps, I would just throw them back onto the soil right underneath the plants. And I mean, I've literally never seen plants as healthy as this for as little input, like zero input besides my food scraps. And why I'm doing that is because I'm realizing, again, through Gabe Brown's teachings, is that the cycle of nutrients is really what like you need to understand. Like you really need to understand like how nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium cycle through the ecosystem as a whole, and how you can use the plants to harness or release these nutrients which were needed for cash crops. So I mean, you know, when you're monocropping and you don't have anything feeding your soil, that's why you need to supplement the soil with synthetic fertilizers, because the cash crop is sucking up everything. So like you send in a plant sample of cannabis or like a corn stalk, you know, they're both like heavy fruiting. You're going to see a lot of potassium, a lot of phosphorus, you know, hopefully a lot of nitrogen. And if you don't have cover crops and decaying matter adding, you know, carbon back into your soil, you're not going to have healthy soil to grow in after that season. So like that's why people do crop rotations, because the time that, you know, it grows out, you know, they grow the cash crop and then they move it to another field, and then that year that field sits and it just naturally grows up and then falls down, and then the third year they come back to it, because what I'm saying, like what Gabe Brown is teaching is that you're not disturbing the soil. You're letting the soil decompose components that are falling on top of it, and that's redistributing nutrients, and that allows, you know, the soil to regenerate and improve, you know, its structure, and then it's ready for another cash crop.
And that's why like the livestock is important, right? Because they kind of scratch the surface and get it more into the soil and able to break.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, like if you're in a state of like comfort, you really don't grow. And the same thing for plants. So when you add livestock integration and grazing, you're really like making the plants fend for themselves. You know, like they really got to like get their guard up, and basically that helps promote vigorous growth, is because they're not in a state of comfort, they're in a state of like, you know, defense almost. So you're keeping them on their toes in a sense, You know, and then also while the chickens are moving around, they're eating the bugs that are attracted to the cover crops. You know, their droppings are adding nitrogen to the soil. You know, their urine and feces are adding food for the fungal network to, you know, decompose. And again, it goes back to the cycling of nutrients. Like Gabe Brown literally said this and it blew my mind. He said that there's 32,000 tons of atmospheric nitrogen above 1 acre of land. So as a farmer, we just spent like
again
32,000 tons of atmospheric nitrogen above 1 acre of land. So as a farmer, we just spent like a couple $1,000s on nitrogen fertilizer to prep our field. That was before I knew that you could plant a legume that will literally suck these atmospheric nitrogen out of the air and transfer it through its root system into the soil for the cash crop to use. You know, so like I'm taking that nitrogen that's in the atmosphere, putting a plant in the ground that knows how to take that nitrogen and then convert it into usable nitrogen for my cash crop. You know, like I can buy a 50-pound bag of legume seed for $30. You know, four of those will get me my 4 to 5 acres. You know, that's like not even $200-300. You know, we just spend almost 5,000 on nitrogen fertilizer, and that's something that we're going to have to do every year. This legume will grow back, you know, or I can replant it for it to come in heavier, you know, because we're not harvesting the beans, we're not harvesting the legumes. So when they naturally die off, they're going to fall into the soil.
Yeah,
a percentage of them are going to germinate and come back in the spring.
That's what I'm doing with my hemp.
We're not tilling, you know what I'm saying? So like that's, you know, it goes into like, you know, you walk in the forest and how does that's not irrigated. People aren't out there dumping fertilizer on the forest. You know, it doesn't go through drought. You know, the soil is structured well, you know, it's homeostasis, you know, it has aggregates, things are moving through the soil, the bacteria and the fungal network is working, everything is working together. There's, you know, you walk through the woods and you literally have to dig down 2-3 inches before you even find soil. There's so much debris and residue from years past on top, and you know that just continues to feed that fungal network, and it literally just has an abundance of available nutrients for the plant. So when there's, you know, off the chart levels of everything available and the plant takes what it needs, that's what you want. You know, like if I gave those levels that are naturally in a good soil as a synthetic fertilizer to that plant, I'm like injecting it all into the plant. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a difference between like my NPK levels being off the chart and then me feeding those same levels as a synthetic fertilizer. It would kill the plant. Cause it's like, you know, like the natural way is for there to be an abundance and you take what you need.
Right.
You know, and then the leftover decomposes and comes back, you know, for the next season. Like, it's just like when you're growing synthetically, you have to give it exactly what it needs. And then that's why that's why there's like an actual chart. There's a schedule, there's a feeding schedule, you know, because you have to give it this much at this, you know, because there's a predetermined, thing in all of us, you know, in humans and plants and animals that make them run at homeostasis. You know, like there is, you know, like you can clearly tell if you eat something bad, you go like you can, you know, you get out of whack. You know, if you do something, you know, like it's just there, like there's a predetermined like whether you want to agree with it or not, there's a predetermined diet for a plant. There's a predetermined diet for our body. Like we're very similar as how, the microorganisms in soil and plants work as like how our body works.
Yeah, so many people's microorganisms, especially in their gut, their microbiome in their gut is all messed up because of the food they eat and alcohol and just like soda and pills and all this other shit. Like, and when you kill your bacteria in your gut, it makes it so digestive problems are just waiting to happen, essentially.
It's crazy that you just say that, because like literally right before we came on here, I'm actually watching a seminar from the California Institute, and this doctor just said that this is something that they are doing, and they're actually taking, so Crohn's disease is basically bad, like what he's saying, it's bad bacteria that has taken over your gut, and basically causing Crohn's disease. And what he's saying is that basically they are literally transplanting healthy fecal matter out of a healthy host into somebody with Crohn's. And within 24 to 48 hours, that new biology of microorganisms clears out the bad bacteria and cures the person of Crohn's within 48 hours. And they're having over an 80% cure rate with it. All they're doing is literally changing the microorganisms in your body, like basically. So if you've taken like antibiotics, or if you've taken like pharmaceutical drugs for a long time, those have literally wiped out your gut bacteria. And when your gut bacteria is not there, like bad bacteria will overcome it.
Yep.
And in a worst case, it causes Crohn's. Some people it's just like stomach aches. Some people it's like, oh, I get constipation. But it grows and it gets worse, and it evolves into Crohn's because the bacteria gets to a level where it causes so much damage. So it's like, but it's like, it's insane, because I'm also like, there's this guy giving this lecture basically saying they're literally fucking transplanting healthy shit out of like a healthy person and putting it into this person with Crohn's, and it's changing their bacteria. But if you literally, I'm learning from the Dr. Sebi stuff, if you just go on like a 3 to 5 day fast with herbs, you're cleaning your cells out on an intracellular level. So you're cleaning every cell and every organ by not putting food into your body. And it will literally eat any bad bacteria, any bad tumors, your body will literally get nutrients from those things by eating them and converting their nutrients as a cycle, like earlier. So then once your body has basically eaten everything it possibly can, all the bad stuff, then you introduce the new food, the right food, and it'll establish the right microorganisms in your body. So like, this is how you inoculate a new soil. Like if you have a brand new soil, you go to the woods and you get a 5-gallon pail of wood soil, and you inoculate your soil with those microorganisms, because that's how you get, like if you open a bag soil that doesn't have that,
Right.
Like you need to go inoculate it with so you need to climatize your soil, just like I was talking about with the seed genetics earlier. You need to climatize your soil. You need to inoculate it with the mycology in the woods, and bring in that local system. And it's the same thing that they're doing with the fecal matter. They're literally transplanting shit out of basically somebody who only eats plants and puts it into somebody with Crohn's, and it literally clears their bad bacteria out. And they're saying, like, this is a professor at a university relating Crohn's and reestablishing microbiology in your gut to fixing soil. So like, how, you know what I'm saying? The more and more I look into soil, is the more and more I find the relation into our human health.
It makes sense.
And
It's
it's
all like connected too, and I think like a lot of the plants or all the plants are really interconnected through their root system, the mycorrhizal fungi, and even like fungal spores and shit that we can't see. They're all around us at all time.
Gabe was literally saying that there was some scientists out in California that did this test. They took like a radioactive sample and put it in a treetop in like one of the redwoods. And 2 miles away, they found that same radioactive element in a germinating seed sprout. So that's how intense this network is that you were just talking about that we cannot see. Like that treetop 2 miles away brought that same radioactive, third party element that they brought in. Like they're, they didn't like drop a little bit over here and then keep going 2 miles in. Like that network moved, and like, that fungal network moved that radioactive, chemical to that, that seed sprout. Right. It's just like, it's fascinating. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the more I learn, the more I'm fascinated too. Like just the fact that if you have healthy soil, you're constantly sequestering carbon and pulling carbon from the atmosphere, because unhealthy soil doesn't really have the ability to do that. Going back to Crohn's for a second, though, Leslie says, I know someone who has Crohn's. CBD help, but they're undergoing a surgery to totally remove her intestines.
That's literally insane.
They need to talk to somebody about the treatment you were just talking about. Try that before surgery.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they've literally like withheld this information. Like our bodies are meant to, like, they're meant to process things. They're meant to heal. They're meant to like, I mean, they're always cleaning. They're always fighting off bacteria and stuff. Like we just always, like, our bodies are always cleaning. And like, especially with like the pushed diet and everything that's out now, is just, I mean, like the Western diet is literally like, people should be overweight before they're 12 years old.
And they usually are.
And that's what we're seeing. I mean, but every ad you see on TV is for bacon and eggs in the morning and a fat steak at night. And, then every other commercial is a pharmaceutical ad. It's like, what? Nobody is promoting anything real.
Yeah, exactly. Because like the real food is medicine. Food is supposed to be medicine. And when you eat a bunch of junk food, you're literally just like depleting your body of what it really wants. And it's keeping it chug-a-lugging along. But like, this is why there's such an increase in autoimmune disorders and other disorders in the brain. Even like our diets are so important. Like I grew up, my parents fed me McDonald's quite often, or other fast food, KFC, Wendy's.
Yeah, I was at McDonald's after hockey practice every Friday.
Right, because that makes sense. It's like, oh, you just physically exerted.
You did great at hockey. Let's stop at McDonald's for a cheeseburger. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah, let's give you some poison. Congratulations, kid. Like,
but that's what we grew up on.
And they knew it though. Like my parents knew it. They used to, like, my dad would be eating a McDonald's burger, telling me about how awful it is, and I'm like, why are you telling me this?
Right? Like, I'm 12. I don't even have a car. Why'd you bring me here?
Yeah, I don't have a choice in this, Dad. Why the fuck am I eating this? It's all we can afford. Well, what the fuck? Like, so, and then that stayed throughout part of my adult life, probably till I was about 25. Because I used to drink like 3 Mountain Dews a day, 1 to 2 Grape Nos energy drinks a day, plus coffee on top of that. And fucking, dude, I don't know, first of all, how my heart didn't explode. But I quit all that cold turkey. I
That's
stopped
crazy.
doing it.
That's one thing I'm thankful for. My parents did not allow soda in my house growing up. I never ginger ale maybe when I had like a upset stomach or something, but it was a very rare occasion I was drinking a Coke or a Pepsi or anything like that. Um, but I I I drank an energy drink one time. Dude, this is crazy. I literally drank it and I woke up in the morning and I had the spins and I like had to call out of work and I was like, I'm never drinking one of those things again. It was like, I like wasn't even drinking or anything, you know. Like it was, I literally just drank that drink, and I woke up in the morning and I was like, "What the fuck is going on with my body?"
Damn. So you don't like caffeine really then, huh?
I don't drink. I don't drink coffee. I worked at a boatyard, and it was like a 10 o'clock coffee break every day, and I couldn't do it. Like I tried it. I tried to drink coffee with the boys, and I couldn't do it. I just don't. I don't know. I drink water and smoothies. I was drinking alcohol for a long time, but the other day was like 7 months, and I just like it's unbelievable just not drinking anymore. Like it's like so much more like clear focus. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now if I was drinking the way I was drinking before.
Yeah.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it definitely clouds your judgment, and
Oh yeah.
it's something I stay away from drinking too. I don't say that I've quit drinking, but you'll probably catch me having 2 beers a month, if that, like something like that. I once in a while I'll come home from work and just like crack open a beer and just drink a beer and be
Yeah,
done.
no, I commend you for that. I can't. I One sip will turn into 30 real quick. You know, it's something I battled for a long time, and it was just like I went on a trip to Texas and basically just drank the entire time and just was throwing up the entire plane ride home, and I was just like, this is it. Like I've had my fun like with this. I'm done. Like I just was like, I'm done. I felt like shit for an entire week when I came home. And I was like, this is not good. I was like, I'm 29 years old. I'm gonna be 30 this year. And I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I just went on a vacation and I don't even remember anything of it. You know, I was like, this is just like I was just like, I gotta do something. And like I tried like stopping before and or just like, you know, oh, I'll just drink on the weekends or, you know, just have one, and it never stays like that.
Yeah.
It always escalated into, you know, at least a six pack on the way home from work and then whatever from there. But
It used to be like that when I was like in my early 20s. I would wake up with like a bottle next to me and just swig
uh,
it or drink it heavily. Like even in my like teens, I drank a lot when like freshman and sophomore year of high school, I was drunk all the time. And
oh
I
yeah.
stopped for a few years, and then when I was like 20, I started drinking again. And then I started drinking heavy in like end of 2011, and for like 2 years just low key was drunk all the time and people didn't
Oh
realize it.
yeah.
It was awful, dude. Like looking back on it, I'm like, damn, it's amazing that half my friends are still my friends. And like because I just feel like I was reckless and just selfish and stupid in so many ways. And now it's like when I have that one beer, dude, I swear to God, I'm buzzed. Like I don't drink
Oh
because
yeah.
so I have a beer and I'm like, I get the feeling that I'm looking for without having to overindulge, and it's fucking awesome. Like literally once in a blue moon, I'll have a business meeting where I'll throw a 2 to 3 back. That's
Yeah.
happens like once a year.
No,
So it's
I it's funny. I've been to a fair share of meetings since I've been doing this, you know, in the past 7 months, and it's just funny because like that was me every chance I could get. I was like, oh yeah, I'll take a beer. You know, we'll be here for 20 minutes. Yeah, I'll just grab a beer or whatever. We're gonna grab lunch. Yeah, I'll grab a beer. and it's just like I just like it's crazy to almost be like the fly on the wall now, seeing like what I used to look like, how I used to sound, how I used to smell. Like it's like whoa. And like I like like it's I don't I can hang out with my friends that drink beer too. It's not like I have to remove myself. Like I've like I can sit and hang out on the tailgate for 3-4 hours after work while they all slam back beers. But like I'm not, and like nobody gives me shit for it. It's cool. We're still all hanging out. I'm just not drinking.
Yeah, and it's I went to a bar recently with one of my friends. I saw him when I was in Plymouth. I was driving, and he was like crossing the street, and I beeped at him. I was like, "Fuck you!" And then he looked over, and I'm like, "Hey!" And so I like had to go, but I called him. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "I'll be free around like 9 o'clock. Let's go somewhere." And like, I know he doesn't really drink much either, but I was like, "Let's go grab a drink somewhere." And I wasn't even thinking it was Thursday, and Thursday in Plymouth is kind of busy. They're Thirsty Thursday. I don't know fucking,
Thursday.
but being in there, I was just like, why the fuck am I in here right now? Like, I literally finished my beer as quickly as I humanly possibly could to get the fuck out of there. And then I like apologized to my boy. I was like, I'm sorry, homie. Like, I
I
can't
gotta
do that. What the fuck is that? Like, I just wanted to sit down with you and like have a conversation because we haven't seen each other in a while for like an hour before I have to go home, drive like an hour home, like, and have a beer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that reminded me so much of why I'm just such a homebody now.
Yeah, no, I mean I love the whole homesteading thing. I mean, we're doing, you got the animals to take care of, the garden, we're canning like crazy.
Fuck yeah.
We're already prepping for next year. We're saving seeds. Um, we're getting some more, we just got 2 acres over there. And then on top of all that, so my other so like me and my girlfriend have a company that's like our homesteading, the animals and the vegetables and the produce and all that.
Mhm.
And I also am 50% owner of Bay Grown Farms. And so what we do is that we're a licensed CBD farm and processor, and we make and sell, we grow and manufacture our CBD products. But on top of that, actually a year ago the other day, we signed a contract with a recreational cannabis cultivation company, and we manage 100,000 square foot outdoor rec cannabis grow in Massachusetts.
No shit.
So we've been doing that for the past year. We just finished harvest today. So that was a pretty big, that was a big step up for us. We'd only done like we did about 12 acres of hemp 2 years ago, that year that we met you.
Yep.
That was a lot. It was a lot of work. We came up very short that year. Didn't get much of a crop. Basically our first 2.5, 3 years in the hemp industry were like a total failure besides our products. We were trying to go in and repurpose cranberry bogs because in our area there are a lot of unused ones, and they're all in wetlands, so you can't fill them in. They have to stay agricultural, and solar companies are technically deemed agricultural since they're farming the sun. So yeah. So solar companies are basically coming into our town and buying up old cranberry bogs, and they're, setting up solar fields on them, and it's ugly. It just, the ground's going to shit underneath it. They spraying it with chemicals.
kills everything underneath
Oh
it.
yeah, and like they got to put up like fences and trees, and again, they don't know shit about soil, so they literally have to replant these trees every like 8 months because they just die. Like it's the most insane thing ever. It's literally just a money pit. I don't even understand. I just don't get it. But so our thing was that we wanted to keep the agricultural. It's a right to farm community, so we wanted to keep the farmland, farmable. Ocean Sprays basically put all the cranberry guys, the small guys out of business around here. So in the beginning, everybody, Ocean Spray was paying people to build bogs. And now they're 3-4 years backed up cranberries in the freezer. So like,
Holy shit.
yeah, I mean, cranberries isn't not what it used to be, for sure. So you see a lot of empty bogs around here. There's a lot of empty ones. There's a lot of, overgrown, not used, nobody knows what to do with them. So we were like, fuck it, let's try to grow some hemp in there. And we got a couple landowners that were down with it. And it was just really hard. You can't drive tractors on wet bottom bogs. So everything that we were doing, you saw we were doing it with golf carts.
Yep.
And like 12,000 pots is a lot when you have 2 golf carts and no tractor. So it was a learning experience for sure.
I do think a big part of that was the fact that it is in pots. That's the hard part, because it's way harder to control your soil biodiversity when you have pots, because if it gets too dried out, you could kill everything. And it's just like, okay, you're starting from scratch basically when you start watering with it and inoculating with bacteria again.
Well, it's funny now that I'm actually going down this like regenerative farming route, because now I actually think a bog would be a perfect specimen to completely like regenerate. You know what I'm saying? Because like what these practices are doing is that they're actually building topsoil. They're actually growing soil. Like that's like what I'm trying to understand a lot more, is that I don't really care what plant is in the soil. Well, I do, because that eventually is, that contributes to the overall health of the soil and growing the soil. But I'm interested now in growing the actual soil. How can we manipulate these microorganisms with the seed and the decaying matter and, the conversion of carbon and the nutrient cycles? Like, how can we harness these down tight and we can build topsoil in literally like 5 to 10 to 15 years versus like 1,000, like our textbooks told us when we were growing up? Like that process can be manipulated, with natural things to be sped up. I'm not talking about, chemically altering this. I'm just talking about throwing more seed down, adding more chickens, integrating them more, just rotating them more frequently, getting their droppings on a more concentrated part of the field. So basically, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they did a study where they let one cow in 1 acre. The cow ate everything dead down to the root in 1 acre. So basically, and then what they did is then they took one cow over the course of an entire season, ate everything in the acre all the way down to the root. The soil didn't regrow grass. So what they were trying to prove is this method of grazing. And what they do is they move the cow now 1 to 2 times a day, but they break up this 1 acre into like 16 different parcels. And then they move the cow through these 16 pieces either twice a day or once a day. And what they saw is that the actual soil was not only healthier and had more like vigorous growth of the grass, the nutrient levels were much higher. So
Mm.
what they were seeing is that basically the cow eats, the top half of the grass that's available, because that's like the most, that's what's most attractive to them. Like there's something that's they're gravitating towards that top specimen of the plant, because that's where all the nutrients are. So they're going to go for that. And then when they're moved more frequently, they will continue to just eat that top half. Versus if they're in the same area for an extended period of time, after they've eaten that top half, they're going to come back quicker to that same piece of grass before it can reestablish a new stand with more vigorous growth to grow back up for it to be consumed again.
Cows fucking love cannabis, assholes. My farmer, he has like these 2 cows that just keep escaping and running up to my field. And like I went there today and there was like 2 big plants missing. They just fucking ate them. And then there was one of them I could see like a bite mark. Like you could see the top was like cut off.
Yeah, just munched.
Fuck. I'm like, I keep next year we're getting an electric fence. But this year it's just been so many troubles, dude, like keeping the cows out of the field, and it's basically impossible. Like once cows have a fucking something they do like 2 or 3 days in a row, they just want to do it for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
That's why that method is so important too, because you move them so often that they don't get these bad habits. And
they're ready to go. They're ready to move. They know, like, oh, tomorrow morning we're going to a new spot.
Yep.
So like that's the idea of that chicken coop that I'm doing. So like I'm going to be moving these chickens with a movable electric fence. So like these 2 acres, we're probably going to section out into like 24 like little parcels.
Right.
So after every 24 days, they'll be back on the same piece. So basically it's going to like, they'll almost go through an entire month before they come back to the same piece of grass that they had previously grazed on.
Yep.
So like that will give that piece ample time to regenerate roots, structure, growth, and be ready for another round of grazing. So like if, the farm that I'm renting from, they only wanted like 6 to 8 chickens, like if they would allow more, I would definitely have more. So I could, I wouldn't have to do as many sections. Because I would just make the sections bigger. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like since I have such small amount of chickens, I need to break it up into more.
Why don't you just get more chickens?
Well, because they don't want to have more than 6 to 8 on that property. So, but we're looking at another piece of property too. That's 3 acres. So we might be doing that. The only thing is that's up in Lakeville. So that would just be like kind of a haul to go there every day to move them.
That's literally right.
On top of the cannabis farm and the hemp farm and the produce and making products and everything else.
How much land is available in Lakeville?
3 acres. I just made like flyers and just was said, looking for a couple acres to grow some vegetables. And some guy called me like last week and said that he had, he rents to some other corn farmer and he's got 3 acres that is available for next season. So I was like, we'll come take a look at it. But
so that's going to be tough. It depends where those 3 acres are in regards to the corn farmer, because a lot of corn farmers use a shit ton of pesticides.
Yeah. So what I'm really interested in doing is I would kind of like to see it side by side. You know what I'm saying? I kind of want to like, I know there's going to be, spray and, runoff and whatever from the conventional side. And, but to be able to see it side by side, if I grow corn right next to his corn and like it's just, it may not look as good in the first year. Like, like that's the thing is like, I don't know, like when, like at this, like these 2 acres in Rochester, like it's pretty depleted, so like it's going to take a couple rounds of cover crop to grow up and then decompose and leave, some residue and some armor on the soil for, so basically like what I'm trying to do is I planted that cover crop 2 weeks ago in Rochester. I'll get another one in late March of 22. And then I will let that grow up, and then I'm gonna most likely terminate that in like May, like mid-May, and then immediately plant another one for like summer, fall. So like by the end of next season, that 2 acres will have seen 3 different cover crop rounds, like 3 different rounds of planting and cutting down. So like so basically you terminate it by just cutting it at the base and it falls over, and then you roll it over so that it sits on the, it's close to the topsoil of that, bacterial network, which is basically in the top 6 to 8 inches of the soil.
Do you put any organic compounds down? Like I use this this stuff called biofish. It's like emulsified dead fish, kelp, potash, a couple other things. It's
No, I'm thinking about going and getting some seaweed. Honestly, I did that with my garden in my backyard. I got that from my grandmother. I always used to go down to the beach with her and load up bins of seaweed, and she would always tell me that it was mulch. And actually, when I started getting into this whole regenerative thing, I was like, I got to look that up and just like see what the hell that was all about. And it's like, it actually provides a lot of nutrients, and on top of it being a mulch. And then it also provides natural salts, which is like, as far as like, like the whole, like in cannabis, salt versus organic, like sea salt is as organic as you can get.
Yep.
So like there is salts in organic, like I don't really know, like they there's synthetic salts, which is not good. Like they're not going to break down,
Yeah, that's like what a lot of, I think like Canna and a few other of them have shit like that in it. I've never really, like, the only bottle newts I ever used when I first started growing was like fish shit. I love fish shit. I use this stuff called
Well, yeah, that's not even synthetic. That's literally just bottled fish shit. That's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's
Those guys are cool too. They sponsored us for like a grow season, and
oh
we,
wow.
we grew some fucking pretty big plants that year.
I started growing with General Organics, and then I found out Monsanto bought them, and I was like, all right, next. And then I moved to Advanced Nutrients because they have a whole organic line,
Yeah,
and I liked it. I liked it a lot for, like, indoor growing in a pot. It was
yeah,
great for that. Going to scale, it was like, there's got to be better compounds, and like this, the biofish is, I know MBK isn't everything, but it's 772 MPK, and
mm-hmm.
it basically like directly feeds the fish shit. So like I water with some fish shit after putting some of that down,
Yep,
and I'll just come back a week later and the field is just like like
yeah,
after this season. So we planted late, and then we got all that rain. We got a shit ton of erosion. Like a quarter of the field, a quarter of my acre was like completely nothing was growing on it. And I did one thing of fish shit. I took a backpack sprayer and
yeah.
fucking, I didn't set up my irrigation system because I knew I wasn't gonna have a crop this year. So I was like,
Well,
fuck
you
it.
didn't need irrigation this year with how much fucking rain we got.
That too, and it's like it rained heavy, so I just I backpack sprayed it, thinking like, okay,
Yeah,
it's gonna soak right into the wet soil, and it'll be just like watering with it. And dude, like literally just doing that was what made my field go from barren to like I came back a week later, all filled in. There's like no more barren spots at all.
Yeah, it was just because it's just adding that natural like bacteria and those organisms to, to your patch of soil.
Yep.
It's shit, you were just talking about something that I wanted to, the runoff and the erosion. So this is a huge thing that I've been learning about from Gabe Brown and his partner Ray Archuleta.
That's from Kiss the Ground. I recognize that name.
Yeah, so they are in that. Yes, they are in that. So if you look up like a slate test by Ray, it's like visually some of the most like astounding things that you can just visually see how depleted our soils are from conventional farming. I mean, these guys go into the heart of farming country where it is, you till in the morning and, like that's just like what you go out, you till and you get the field ready and then you plant your one crop and you kill everything else. And then you spray your pesticides and your fertilizers. And like, they're literally doing this test. It's called the slate test. And they literally take a chunk of soil. They do it side by side. So this is like the great thing. So they take a chunk of like no-till cover crop, organics, like untouched, like prairie soil, woods soil, or like literally a farm that has not, been doing no-till cover crop for 30, 40 years. So they do this side by side. They do a conventional farming that's been tilled every year for 30 years. And then they have this other one that's, never been touched basically in 30 to 40 years. They have a jar of a tall cylinder of water, and then they drop these soil samples in each cylinder. And what it shows is that the tilled soil will immediately start to fall apart. Like will immediately break into dust and fall to the bottom and disintegrate into nothing. And what that's showing is that there's no aggregates in the soil. There is no composition to the soil. It's completely depleted and it's like collapsed. There's no glues. Like this fungal network creates glues that will literally hold soil together. So like what they're saying is that like a good soil should act like a good like moist like cake, like it should be like spongy and like chunky, and there should be holes in it, there should be avenues for worms and these protozoa and everything that's eating and cycling nutrients. So basically it's showing that like the no-till soil literally stays together. It doesn't, not one flake of soil even comes off of it. It's so intact with these fungal glues and these aggregates that it does not fall apart. So it's just visually showing you how well like nature can, when it is given its like time to get to homeostasis and for everything to do what it needs to do at the time it needs to be done to cycle these nutrients, you get this chocolate cake looking full of aggregate soil that worms are moving through, traveling up and down root systems, like it's a environment that plants and bugs and bacteria and fungus want to live in.
Right.
So what this also does is that, so when you have these two soil structures, your conventionally tilled one just completely falls apart. So what that does is that when rain falls down, rain will now hit the soil. So the soil is completely compact because you've tilled it in the beginning of the season. It was nice and fluffy. You're running your hands through it and you're like, this is fucking good soil. Nice. That soil in 2 to 3 months is going to be so compact. on the soil, on the surface, it's going to be like you wouldn't even be able to get like a jackhammer through it. Like, it's insane how the soil will go from that light, airy, fluffy after you till it, and you're like, okay, here we go.
Yep. It's
How
like
fast it just depletes that whole fungal network and collapses your soil. It doesn't let rain infiltrate. And then what it does is, because now you hear, environmentalists, they're saying, oh, we have runoff problems. No, we don't have a runoff problem. We have an infiltration problem. The problem is the soil's not going in. I mean, the water's not going into the soil. The water hits the ground and carries the topsoil away. Like what you just said, you have erosion. We had literal fucking rivers in our 5 acres this year. Like there's a literal stream. It carried topsoil out of our field into a local river, and like that's a serious problem. Because now you're seeing, if you look up, if you go look up like the Chesapeake Bay, the Chesapeake River, it's literally fucking brown, black, topsoil. It's literally runoff. And they're saying it's like, oh, we have this runoff problem is creating a serious environmental hazard. And it's like, it is, you're right. But this problem is not the runoff. It's the infiltration of our soil. We have paved roads, which doesn't allow any infiltration. You don't have, people are literally spraying synthetic fertilizers on their lawns. Anywhere you look that there's supposed to be soil, we're getting in the way and we're depleting it.
Yep. And planting grass that's not native to the area. And
the soil is a living organism. It needs to function in order to help cycle nutrients, in order to help the water cycle. If the water cycle is not infiltrating our soil and getting clean through the watershed and then coming out to the water to be then evaporated to go back up to the sky, we're looking at water that's brown, that's creating anaerobic bacteria. Yep. And a byproduct of anaerobic bacteria is methane gas. So like there's a huge issue right there that nobody's talking about, that the methane gas in our ozone layer is literally coming from anaerobic bacteria
caused by runoff, caused by
fucking soil sitting in water.
Yeah. It's like this year I really didn't want to till, but the farmer just went ahead and he harrowed it. And I'm just like, all right, well, at least that'll give me good data, because next year we're not going to do it, so we could see what the difference is between doing it and not doing it. So cool. But I really just feel like it killed everything. And the more I've studied carbon, when you till, you get rid of like 60% of the carbon that's stored in the soil, which is the life form for all the fungal networks and the mycorrhizal fungi. And
that carbon cycle is life. That carbon cycle is life. Like, you need that carbon cycle, and literally every pass is killing 75% of that fungal network. One pass of a harrow kills 75%. That fungal network literally is in the top 6 to 8 inches. That harrow goes down 2 feet if you want it to. Like, it's what they've been teaching, what they've been telling people it's insanely wrong. And whether they knew it was wrong or they didn't know it was wrong, it doesn't really matter at that point, because you literally have environmentalists that are talking about these serious issues, but then you have Burger King coming out with commercials that are saying the methane gas in our ozone layers from fucking cows shitting. And it's like such a minute fraction of the methane gas that's in our ozone is from fucking livestock shitting. There's so much more coming from the anaerobic bacteria. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's, I want to say that they said methane gas is like 20 or something, 20% of like the gas in the ozone layer. Or 20%, like over what it should be. I'm not 100% on that number, but it's like, there's no fucking way that's coming from animals.
No.
There's no way.
Well, I will say this though, agriculture does
Oh,
have
it's
a big
bad. It's
impact.
definitely bad.
Yeah, in like especially like the factory farming, like those areas, the soil is so depleted because the cows are all just in one area, constantly eating and trampling the ground, so it's just dirt, and that it's not really like absorbing the shit the way it's supposed to, and
Well,
then it's getting released up into the atmosphere even more.
because the bacteria turns anaerobic and it doesn't need oxygen to live. That's the problem. You know, whether it's sitting in a fucking shit mud puddle in a field or sitting in a lake or a river, it's that soil that is having the lack of oxygen, whether it's being suppressed by shit, water, you know, a mix of the two. It's creating anaerobic bacteria, and that is what's letting out the methane gas. So, like, you know, these cows should be free ranging and they should be shitting and pissing into the fungal network out in a prairie, and then it should decompose and then they should move on because a natural cow would not stay in an area that's been fully grazed. They're going to move on as a herd. They're going to move on. They're not going to stay in their fucking shit and piss mess. You know, like if you just mimic nature, that's what you're doing. You're moving the herd with that integrated livestock grazing is you're moving the herd. You know, like, okay, the herd has collectively eaten this area. Now it's time to move on. Like they naturally did that, you know, before farmers, before ranchers, like buffalo, like pack of bison, you know, a herd, like that's how they work. You know,
Yeah, no animal is gonna stay where there's no food source. That's just not logical.
who the hell would? Why would you stay in your house if the fridge was empty? There, you fucking go do something about it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the end of the world and you have no food left in your house. What are you gonna do? Just stay in your house and eat the walls? Like, what are you?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, dude. The world is really like gone mad too. Like, uh, just trying to educate people about this. They're like, we know farming. Don't tell us how to farm. You
Yeah.
know, it's like what you're saying about the guys in the Midwest. Like, this is just how they do it. It's the grow Bible. Like, when I told my farmer that I'm keeping most of my weeds, like I got rid of the Jimson weed because
Yeah.
it's what's
It's
it called?
pretty
Not
invasive.
invasive, that's the word. And then there's one other grass that kind of grows too tall for my liking that I chop down sometimes, but the cows when they come through they eat that too.
Yeah, that fuck, what was it? Actually, I think I might have it on my phone. I
But
got this
I
I
also
got
have
this app and it's literally you can just like take a picture of a plant and it tells you what it is.
Yep.
But I just use that to go through the fields and identify what weeds are growing so I know what they are and what they're doing. So therefore I can, you know, basically determine whether to keep them or not, you know? Like if it's going to be an invasive weed that seeds out in 2 to 3 weeks, you know, like I should probably get rid of it. But if it's going to take 2, 3 months to seed out, then I might leave it and just control it. You know, like it's just, and it all depends on what they do, whether they're broadleaf, taproot, you know, like it all depends. That's like that the diverse cover crop. Like, you know, you can get like a radish or a turnip. Those are big tap roots that are going to basically break up the soil if you have that compact soil that I was talking about. But then you also need like the legumes, you need the living mulch. You know, you just need, you know, like you need a broadleaf that's going to suck in a lot of sunlight, you know, and use that photosynthesis to be, you know, putting that out through the root system. Whereas, you know, like I said, the turnip is basically breaking the ground up. So it's loosening it up for, you know, the aggregates, the earthworms to move around. You know, they're all playing different roles, you know, and then again, like these, like radishes are great because they're sucking up nitrogen and potassium. So like those are literally just like little like they're like little like safes of nutrients, you know, and then like after the winter time they're gonna start decomposing at the perfect time to start germinating your next crop, and it's just unleashing like a windfall of nutrients. It's just like you're just storing them over winter, and then they're just being released as they decompose in the springtime. A, helping your fungal bacteria ratio, and then B, it's gonna just start dumping NPK of availability in that mycorrhiza zone, and the plant's gonna fucking take off.
Exactly.
It's just like it's crazy because like this. I mean, this is just a rancher from North Dakota who started doing this because like he had no money, and then like it turned into like scientists were showing up at his door and being like, "What the hell are you doing?" And now he's proving with science that he is literally upping the nutrient density in the food that he's growing. So they said over the past 40 years, our nutrient density has gone down like 60%.
Tilling and pesticides.
Killing pesticides, synthetic fertilizers. It all comes back to the synthetic. The synthetic is not sustainable, and the synthetic doesn't go through the nutrient cycle. It's one part to feed the plant as like a steroid because you're injecting it into the plant. And then after that, the byproduct of these synthetics don't naturally go through the ecosystem. So therefore, you're seeing a depleted soil. You're seeing the butterfly effect of using these, like, okay, cool. Yeah. I dumped synthetic fertilizer on the ground and I grew my corn, and I grew a shitload of corn, and I made a bunch of money. And that's it. That's all they think about. They don't think about the other 3/4 of the cycle after the plant is done and it's decomposing synthetic components. Mm-hmm. They don't go back into the soil. It will not be eaten, and it won't work. It's just they won't do it. It's not in their chemistry to eat it.
Yeah, they don't want it.
They won't. Have you ever seen that photo of the GMO corn next to a real piece of corn, and the real piece of corn just fully eaten from the birds? Like, if you should look that up after we get out. It's like an old picture about like really like going against GMO corn when it was first coming out. And they literally had a corn cob on a stick in a field, two of them side by side. One was GMO corn and the other one was completely natural. And the natural one was completely picked at, eaten, and the other one was completely full of kernels. So like, you tell me how a bird is supposed to know.
That picture on the right there is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
This one there.
How is a bird supposed to know that? How is a bird that doesn't watch the news or know that they've altered the genes of that? How is he supposed to know?
Wow.
It's pretty apparent that they do know.
Yeah, it's like they tried the other one and they're like, ooh,
that doesn't work. It did something. They can immediately tell.
Yeah, because they have better homeostasis.
When you're in tune with your body, you can tell. I mean, I've been doing this plant-based thing for a little over 2 years now. And like, I mean, if you literally tried to be sneaky and like put something in my food, I would be able to tell. I would have a stomach ache. I might be constipated after. I might have trouble going to the bathroom. Like, I will be able to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's when you're in tune with what you're putting into your body, you can tell when something shouldn't be in your body. And nobody is going to understand that until you are at a level of understanding when you're doing it. Like, I didn't understand this when I didn't do this diet. I thought vegans were crazy. I didn't even know what a vegan meant. Like, I don't even, like, I don't, it's the mindset has completely changed. I'm not even trying to like label, plant-based or vegan or whatever. Like, I'm just trying to eat shit that I'm the more research I do is what I think our diet should be. Like,
you don't think our diet should have meat in it?
I don't. So the tests that I've been reading about, this is like an older test that they did, and this is what the meat industry ran with. They basically gave mice. So this was like a protein test. So what they did is they gave mice meat, and then they gave them plant-based protein. The mice that ate the meat grew faster and quicker. And then that's where they stopped, and that's what they used for their marketing. If you continue the study, like that's where the meat industry stopped. They were like, okay, that's good enough. We're going to take that part of the test, and that's what we're going to market. So if you continue looking at the results of the test, it'll show you that over 10% of your daily intake of calories, if meat is over 10% of your daily calories, it will enable growth of cancer cells in your body. That was a proven fact in that test that they decided to not advertise, and they only advertised that if you eat meat, you will get bigger and stronger quicker because they more resemble the enzymes in our body.
And what they didn't tell you is they probably got bigger quicker because of all the hormones injected into most of the meat too. Like I will say, right? So I was vegetarian for 4.5 years. I just started eating meat again probably like 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I looked at it was I don't need to eat it every day. And I only want stuff that's local, organic, free range, no hormones, no. It's literally like the chicken looks different than the GMO chicken. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, oh, it's insane. I mean, I'm all for it. Like if you like are eating it, like if you're under that 10% of daily calorie of meat, and you're doing it with like the natural grass fed, no wormers, no vaccinations, no steroids.
Well, even the chickens that are organic have vaccines, I found out.
Yeah, so I mean, you're literally gonna have to go find somebody like basically like this guy Gabe Brown, or like what I'm doing with my chicken. I mean, we don't do any no wormers, no pesticide. I mean, no nothing. I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
eat food. They eat they eat
scraps and like
yeah.
like we'll cut up watermelon and give them the rest of the watermelon, or like when stuff's going bad a little bit, we'll give it to them. They fucking love it. Like
Let them right into the garden.
Yep.
Fuck it. I mean, I'm not going to eat everything that comes out of the garden. Like I'm just not.
Yeah.
It's just it is what it is. I'd rather lose 10%. If you're looking at it on like a business scale, I'd rather lose 10% to feed the chicken, to have a healthier chicken egg, than to be worried about a 10% loss of produce.
Yeah, like that's the other thing.
Because because at the same time I can sell the chicken egg, and it's more nutrient dense, and it's better than the person down the street. And then I can once you really understand the ecosystem and you treat the farm as the ecosystem, you can reach your hand in and you can pull a profit out anywhere you want. I can sell the chicken. I can sell the chicken fertilizer. I can use the chickens to fertilize my my food for free. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's a direct profit in my hand or me not having to pay an expense, that's how I also look at it. I mean, I don't care if we're going to get out yielded. I'm going to out profit you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let's go to let's go to 1 acre. It takes, how much money are you investing into 1 acre of growing something? Tilling, labor, spraying, weeding, what does all of that cost? versus growing with nature, throwing seed down instead of fertilizer. You're not weeding, you know, like you're letting things grow naturally. Like, yeah, it may take a season or two to get to optimal levels, but again, if I'm, I don't, what is the average bushel of corn per acre?
Not a lot.
So like, whatever, say it's 50 bushels an acre and you're paying $3,000 to get to that 50 bushels, your profit margin is low, very low.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're literally just buying corn seed and cover crop seed and you're releasing animals to continue the integration of, the nutrient cycle, I mean, you're literally you're growing nutrient dense food or cannabis for cents on the dollar, and you're just doing it by knowing what to do and when to do it with having the right tools as far as animal seed, just like cover crop knowledge, just when to terminate, when to seed, when to when to plant the cash crop in with it. We're talking about natural pest solutions. We're talking about building soil, increasing nutrient levels, having a healthier ecosystem, which is going to have a healthier plant, healthier humans that are on top of the soil, taking care of it. I mean, just the benefits continue to evolve the more you do it. And it's just understanding how to do it, and you can do it for cents on the dollar. I mean, I'm very, very interested to see this next season coming up, our costs on 2 acres versus the next farmer that does 2 acres of conventional farming.
Yours is gonna be way lower.
I just want to know, like if I'm only coming in a little under his yield, yeah, word, you out yielded me. That's cool. But like, how much did you pay to get there?
Yeah.
Like, does it, and like, and is that the only part of your operation that makes you money?
And I think that you could realistically out yield him once you have everything kind of dialed in, right?
Oh, for sure.
Next year, I'm thinking about literally spray casting my hemp seeds because I'm not growing for cannabinoids anymore. I'm growing for the carbon sequestering, and I'm growing for all the textiles afterwards. I don't care about the cannabinoids anymore. Like if I get some biomass to sell, cool, but I'd rather just let the field go and let it all seed itself, so I don't have to keep planting it. I
Yeah.
just one season and I'm done. Like I just every season it'll keep getting better and better and better on its own almost. I just keep feeding it the organic compounds and the fish shit and water it if we have a drier season, like through irrigation. But once you get the system down, like it'll survive through the droughts and thrive through the droughts because the moisture retention is there.
That's the regenerative part of it, because like everybody's talking about being sustainable, and it's like that's a great idea. So being sustainable is a fantastic idea, but we're not there. So what, you're sustaining a depleted soil? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? You need to regenerate that soil to a point where it can be sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Like I see it in the cannabis industry every fucking day. Literally everybody is fucking promoting that they're sustainably grown. Anybody that's growing weed outside is sustainably grown. Okay, well, like that's a lot of horse shit, like, because I bet you less than 1% of those people are actually doing sustainable growing techniques. The other half probably are dumping salts through irrigation lines, saying that they're sustainable because they're using the sun.
And then spraying neem oil all over it. Like, this is good.
Yeah. I mean, it's been there, done that. I've seen it, done it.
You know what else is crazy? When you have a good soil biodiversity, The other thing that happens is invasive bugs don't really have an effect much. And if you do have like a plant that starts getting overtaken by like mites or something like that,
Yep.
you can release bugs like praying mantises and ladybugs and get rid of it. Like we had our first year, we had a plant with spider mites, and growing indoors, which is most of my growing, I literally spider mites were the devil.
Oh
Like when
yeah.
you got spider mites, you destroy your whole crop, you bleach everything, you let it sit for like a month, and then you fucking clean it again and let it sit for a week, and then clean it again, and then put plants and like start planting babies. Like
Oh yeah.
sucks. Start getting spider mites like you're starting from scratch. So we got it, and I was like, fuck, we're done. We got to kill that plant and like the 10 plants near it, burn all of them. Fuck spider mites. And my old business partner was like, um he's like, no, you don't. Like, we'll just leave it. It'll be fine. Like he's the one who started teaching me a lot about soil
Yeah.
biodiversity, and um we left it and we released like 10,000 ladybugs, like a fuck
Yep.
ton of ladybugs. Just we put them right under that plant, so they
Yep.
started there. They probably cleaned off that plant, went to go look for others, and there probably wasn't anything else.
And
Some of
they're
them had babies and stuff, and then
yeah.
most of them left. And like we had a natural life cycle ladybugs. The spider mites went away, never spread to a single plant. It was fucking nuts, dude. Like it was just like, for me, that was like proving everything wrong that you're taught as as a marijuana grower. Like you're like, oh man, there's nothing you could do about pests, blah blah blah. Like fuck that. I literally on some of my plants was going through with a scalpel and removing the corn borers,
Oh
cleaning
yeah.
I
Those
was
things are
cleaning it
fun.
out with fucking colloidal silver, like spraying the inside of it, cleaning it out, and then
Yeah.
using crafting tape around it, and the plant would start being like, okay,
Yep.
and start understanding how to kind of like get rid of the pests and create terpenes that like repel the pests. It's
Yep.
fucking nuts. And then we saw like the difference between like the clones got eaten alive by the borers and the seedlings weren't as bad. So it
Hmm.
was like because they were so much more hardy and just like more
Yep.
natural, it feels like. Plus the clones we got weren't that good.
It happens. We've bought many a bad clones.
Last year was rough because like we got started late again. Um, I don't remember why we got started so late last year. I think we were just dragging our feet, and we were working on we were gonna merge into another business, and then
Mhm.
I I almost did it, and then I kind of like looked past the rose-colored lens and it was like, whoa, whoa, all this shit's so exciting to me. There's thousands of plants and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment and all this cool shit and a team of people and blah blah blah. Let me see the books.
Yep.
And then I saw the books and I was like, I'm out. Like, what do you mean you're out? I was like, I'm not. Nope, nope. Our like, you have all this stuff, but we're at the same level for like profit margins and stuff. Come on, nope, nope, nope. And like, it took forever for them to even send it to me, right? So I was already sketched out by the time I even read it, and then I
Yeah.
read it and see that information, and I'm like, okay. And then so I said to them, I would okay, I'll do it, but under one stipulation. At the end of 1 year of being not officially merged into your company, so we'll still remain two different entities, but we'll have paperwork that, we are your
Yeah.
entity. After 1 year, all five partners will sit at the table and it has to be voted unanimously that we stay. And they were like, well, what if you sabotage that? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, I wouldn't sabotage it if it's working after a year.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like everybody was on the attack for me, except for one of the other partners. He was level headed and like, I see where Adam's coming from. I see where you guys are coming from. Like, I get it. And he kind of was like, well, I just don't think it's probably that good of an idea either. So we ended up not doing it, and thank God. It would have been a horrible decision. It would have been a year later, and I'm looking, and I'm like,
Yeah. No, it's nice when you can dodge a bullet.
yeah, it was a rough bullet though. It's like I don't think I dodged it. I think I took the bullet and it just
Yeah.
get anything major, so I just was, like, in the hospital a little bit, like, hurting. And, like, I'm like 50 Cent, got shot 9 times, and I'm fine, but, like, for real, though, it was rough. It was really rough. I really wish within, like, the next couple of years, I really divulge into, like, full details of it, but it's just, while it's still an entity and everything, I'm
Yeah.
very careful. But it's a dead entity, essentially. We haven't renewed any of the LLCs, we haven't had any transactions, it's a dead fucking,
Yeah.
thing.
No, I,
But that made room for talking about regeneration, that's like regeneration in my life, and I started looking more into what he was teaching me, the soil biodiversity after watching Kiss the Ground. Like,
yep.
I literally cried when I watched Kiss the Ground because it was just like, "Oh my god, they didn't mention hemp."
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second, like, this is everything I want to do. This is what I've been trying to do, what we're really close to doing because we would only use a broad fork. We wouldn't use, like, a harrow or anything our first year. We
Right.
used
Yeah. 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 I remember that. Yeah.
and that's cool, I guess, but even that seems like it's too deep, like because that's going, like, 8 inches.
Yeah. I mean, what they're just saying is just like no disturb. I mean, like you have to drive on it to, I mean, at the acres that they're talking about, and, obviously walking on it, you know, just the most minimal disturbance to the soil because a seed will germinate and that taproot will go into the soil. Like it's not. They're strong. They're hardy. They have a will. They will find a way. It is amazing. You can literally throw seed and it will germinate and it will grow. Like you don't have to dig a big hole and put, azos and mycos and cover it and water it 12 times every other day. And then it's crazy what I thought I knew.
Right.
It's all of it's irrelevant because that whole schedule means nothing. The whole, this much at this stage, and then oh, we're going into flower. We got to bump up this one. It's like it's all fucking. It's. I mean, you have to do that schedule because that's the predetermined way the plant wants to eat. But if you understand the soil dynamic, you should be feeding the soil, not the plant.
Mm. Yeah,
And like,
that's what I always say, I grow soil, not plants.
yeah, and that's just like it's. I mean, I'm literally just looking at a stack of books that all say the same thing. Like it's, I don't know how much more apparent it can be.
Yeah.
How like realistically, you go to school for farming and all they're telling you is to kill, 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 kill. What are you supposed to grow? You know what I'm saying? Kill the bugs, kill the fungus, kill the fucking soil, kill everything. Literally kill fucking everything but the thing that you're growing. That's what conventional farming is.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
Yeah, and it's
It's
killing the earth,
insane.
like, literally.
You walk into the woods right now and you tell me that how you see a blueberry bush and it's the only fucking thing that's growing there. There's no fucking way. There's 30 other fucking bushes right next to it. And not to
Monocrop.
mention 6, 7 different types of grasses growing beneath it. And then the 5 different fucking main trees that are growing above it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so diverse. It's right in front of our eyes and we don't even see it.
Mhm.
Like it's that like I don't like I feel like I sound like a fucking crazy person, but it's like you just don't. It was in front of me the entire time and I didn't know what I was looking at.
Going back to, the vegan conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, I really think that meat is important to be strong. I do. Like, so when I was a vegetarian, I had a great diet. Like, we ate great food. I ate enough calories, and I could never get above like 135, 138. That was like my
Yeah,
threshold. I couldn't get above that as a grown ass man. Like, I'm 5'8", I'm fucking 135 pounds, like looking scrawny as hell.
yeah, that's
And then I started eating, and I did some like testosterone tests and everything. My testosterone was like fucking a third of what it should be, a quarter of what it should be. And so I started eating meat again. And dude, I'm up to like 150. I get up to like 153 right now. And
mhm,
finally starting to like see muscle growth. My
yeah,
energy's better. I don't feel as tired. Like for me, I had to incorporate it in, but I still can't eat too much. It just
yeah,
freaks me out. Like I very, like you said, like it's definitely under 10% of my calories for the day. Like I like if I have meat, sometimes I'll have like an organic chicken sausage with like
yep,
eggs in the morning, and it's like I'm getting two nice big proteins in the morning, and
mhm.
I really gotta start adding some beans to that because that'd be even better. I fucking love beans. Um,
Yeah, that's like, I mean, honestly, like I eat a lot of chickpeas, a lot of beans, just like a lot of legumes and in general. Um,
I still do. I love fucking beans, dude.
yeah, so I mean, basically like nuts and like basically like hemp seeds, pine nuts, walnuts, sesame seed, the chickpeas, and then like certain grains like amaranth, rye, spelt. Um, those are like very nitrogen rich, like foods with, they're amino acids that are like very nitrogen rich, which are like the basis of converting protein.
Hmm.
So like these things are like the base of protein. Like a nitrogen rich amino acid is protein.
Right.
So like I get all of my protein from literally seeds, nuts, and beans, and like a very select few grains. But it's really hard to find like non-processed stuff, like because like none of this shit that like I'm talking about in like this alkaline diet and stuff, like none of this really works if you're using processed ingredients. It's like it's a completely counteractive. It's just like it doesn't work, like
Right.
it's not a real ingredient. It is a food like product. um
Mm.
and and so like I've been doing this like for a little over 2 years, and I can't keep fat on me to save my life. I couldn't. I probably, if I went on the scale right now, I'd probably be like 130, like you were saying, maybe 125. Like seriously, I'm skinny, small.
Yeah.
But like I don't like work out though. You know what I'm saying? Like if I were to start working out and increase my legume and nuts and seeds, I would build muscle mass. Like I have no fear of like trying to do more stuff because I'm like weaker or like way less. You know what I'm saying? Like I could go to the gym 7 days a week and be pumping iron and just upping my intake of nitrogen rich amino acid foods, and I would be right there with anybody. And I know that because of how these nitrogen rich amino acids work and how they're converted into what we use and know as protein.
Mm.
So it's like you can get all of these from meat too, and that's completely fine if it's under that 10%. But if you're going over 10%, you're risking enabling cancer cells.
I do think it depends on what kind of meat it is too. Like I feel like wild game meat, like that's I feel like the cancer causing isn't the carcinogenic qualities of it aren't really there because it's just a whole different breed of meat. Like when you have a wild animal, like
Mhm.
that was one of the main decisions of why I went back to eating meat, because I had to prepare for it, right? Like I
Yeah.
decided that I want to hunt my own meat. Like I don't even want to like rely on farms and shit. Like I want to
Yeah.
just eat like 80% my own fucking killed meat. And I only have to kill maybe 2 animals a year, maybe.
Yeah.
And I would be able to feed my family, some friends, some of my extended family. Like it would be crazy, the amount
That's
of
but that's sustainable.
exactly,
That's
exactly,
you using a tool to continue to move on, and you are contribute. I mean, like it is a part of the ecosystem that those nutrients are going to get transferred. There was a plant growing, that deer ate that plant. Those nutrients are inside of the flesh of that animal.
yep,
You kill the deer, you bring it home, and you and your family eat that deer because it's been grazing on natural food, and those nutrients are now being cycled into you and your family. You
yep,
know what I'm saying? It's this nutrient cycle that a lot of people are overlooking, and they do not understand that when you put a synthetic thing into this cycle, it does not have the same byproduct effect. It
right.
does not complete the circle. Like it stops. And
Yeah,
that's not, and that's why you're seeing things collapse. That's why you're seeing fields that just aren't growing what they used to. Like, I mean, shit does just not grow like how it used to. It just doesn't.
no,
Everything, I mean, when I started growing cannabis 15 years ago, I could germinate a weed seed in the ground April 20th. Like that's what we used to do. I used to literally throw a weed seed in the ground and it would germinate. If I did that in April now, it would be fucking dead
yep.
because of frost. Like I don't even know what the hell's going on. Like I think the seasons have shifted a little bit.
Oh, for sure they have.
You
It's
know,
like
like
everything shifted a month forward almost.
I don't like I mean that's just me just over the past 15 years being, just getting ready to grow weed or food and being like it's still fucking cold.
Yeah.
Like what is going on? And I don't know. It's just there's a I don't know. I see that the more science that backs up the fact that there is a predetermined diet for these plants and for these animals. How do we not have one? We have to.
Hmm.
We have to
Hmm.
fit this ecosystem. Like everything else in it has a predetermined diet.
So somebody on Reddit, because we're streaming on Reddit too. The comments don't pop up over here though. He said, "Is Delta 8 any good?" Are
Until
you-
until they shut it down.
yeah. Delta, isn't that synthetically derived?
I honestly have no idea. We were approached by people that wanted to um, come out with like a Delta 8 product, and I was just very hesitant. I mean, we're already on the fence of, banks and all that type of stuff, card processing. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. I mean, I'm sure I've told you, but I'm just for everybody here. We've been through 19 banks as a CBD company. We've been through 3 card processors. We've had to change our website twice. I mean, it's just insane. So like, I would not jeopardize our website, our sales, our licensing to do something that is in a gray area where, I mean, I know for a fact if it gets big enough, they're going to come down and say, no way.
Oh yeah.
I don't even care whether it's natural or synthetic. Like, I just know that if you're trying to tell me that you can buy THC that's coming from hemp and it's completely legal without buying it in a dispensary, somebody's coming to crack down on it.
Yeah.
I mean, these companies are spending millions of dollars to get into the cannabis industry, and you're telling me that fucking anybody can just start selling THC now because it's hemp derived?
Yeah, that's exactly why it's going to get cracked down on,
Yeah.
because politicians are going to get their pockets padded a little bit, and
Oh yeah.
it's going to happen. Like at some conventions, they're going around shutting them down. Like some states have outlawed Delta 8 already. Like
Oh yeah.
it's really fucking crazy, honestly.
The CBD Center of Rhode Island has been selling it for like 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah,
And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, these guys are crazy.
yeah, man. Like
You're just a CBD store, and now you're advertising that you're selling weed. Like you're selling products that are going to get people high. Like now you're confusing the fucking shit out of people when your whole thing has been this is a CBD store and it doesn't get you high. And then it's
why
like
that happens, dude. Like when you had a store, so you know why the fuck this happens. People, there's two different stigmas when you sell CBD. I have a mall kiosk, so I see so many fucking customers, dude. And the two stigmas are this: ugh, I don't do that stuff, and ugh, I do the real stuff.
yeah. Oh, I love yeah. Like
So
like
the I do the real stuff people caused this Delta 8 movement to happen, because people were like, "Oh, you want," like I thought about doing it. I thought about selling Delta 8 cards for the people, everybody that said. I was saying to one of my employees, I was like, "Oh, I'm thinking about it, because like think about how many people we could sell that to that are like, I do the real stuff," and be like, "Oh, well, we actually have the real thing. We just don't advertise it."
yeah, like I mean, I know fucking so many smoke shops that, they're fucking selling vape carts and shit, like I mean,
Yep.
you're never going to get rid of the black market. First of all, you're never going to get rid of it.
Way too powerful.
I just think it's completely fascinating that you you have an industry that's already here and now you're making it legal. So it's not like another industry that like blossomed and like was founded in like a new way came about like this. There's been people trucking weed back from California to New York for fucking years. Like that's not a new job. Like somebody selling weed, that's not a new job. These people that have dispensaries think they're fucking God's gift because they're selling weed, and it's like I can tell you've never sold a gram of weed in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember like when I first moved back to Massachusetts, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go work at a dispensary, work my way up there, use that money to build into my own business, use what I learned there to go into my own business. And it's like I won't name I was gonna name a name. I won't do that. I went into one of the local dispensaries, and the rep that I talked to basically knew nothing. It was like she knew what she could read off the paper, and I was like talking to her about it, educating her about it, and then the manager comes over like as if there's an issue, and I'm talking to the manager, asking her questions just to see what she knows. She knows less than nothing. She knows less than the employee does.
Mm.
And I'm just like thinking like, why is it like this? Like, why is this woman who has no experience? Like, you could tell she was somebody that probably didn't even fucking smoke weed. Like, and what is she even doing managing a dispensary? Like, you have no hands-on knowledge. You have no, like, so what are you doing? You're just here for the money?
Yeah, they saw numbers.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we just gotta do our part and provide enough information and education to the people, and hopefully they can start making their own choice
Yeah.
instead of being swindled into buying a fucking 35% THC bud
Oh my God.
that is nowhere near 35% THC. It's only because they dried the shit out of it and the moisture content 0.0001. So the ratio of the moisture content is going to be directly affected on the result of the percentage of THC. I mean, you can manipulate it 100 fucking ways. It's just comes down to who's growing it who's growing it good and who's not. And like like it is what it is. You know, there's gonna be Bud Light, and then there's gonna be fucking, I don't know. It's been 7 months. I literally don't even know who the fucking craft beer people are anymore. Like whatever, Treehouse, you know, fucking some small local craft, you know, small batch. They care about everything. They, you know, they touch every hop before it goes in, something like that. You know, like you have that style, and then you have your Bud Light, your commercial, your fucking 1,000 acre one strain, fucking put it in a fucking pre-roll and slap it on the ass and send it out the door. You know, there's two ways to do it, and you're just seeing a lot of that second option because those are the people with the money.
Yeah. You can always tell where the truth is if you look at where the money is. That's how I feel about everything going on modern day right now too. It's just if you follow the money, you can always find the truth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no money in educating somebody to tell them that they could grow a variety of 16 to 20 different herbs and vegetables, and that could completely take care of their diet
Yep.
and medication. And there's no money in that. There's no money in it.
There is, however, money in teaching people that a lawn is necessary. The lawn, every time I drive by a lawn now, I just get pissed off. Like I just look at it like you're inferior. You're ruining the planet.
It's just dump fertilizer on it, make it look neon green. I mean, have you ever seen that movie Idiocracy?
No.
Oh man, you should fucking watch it. It's from Comedy Central. It's fucking hilarious. But it's Owen Wilson's brother. I forget what his name, Luke Wilson or something. And like he's just a fucking average Joe in like whatever, and then they freeze him, and then like fucking thousands of years go by, and then they like unfreeze him, and he's like the smartest man alive. like they're literally trying to grow crops with Gatorade. And like I saw this video and I'm like, this is fucking insane. I was like, these people are crazy. Like he literally takes water from the toilet and he's like, I'm gonna fucking grow plants with this. And people are like, you're fucking crazy. Like, what's this guy doing? And it's like,
And it works.
it's fucking water. He's watering the plants with water. These people are literally irrigating fucking fields with Gatorade. They literally think that these plants need electrolytes. Like, like it's fucking, but like, that's Comedy Central. That came out fucking like 10 years ago. But like, look at what we're talking about. What does a fucking jug of advanced nutrients look like? Green fucking Gatorade, blue Gatorade, yellow Gatorade. What is all it all? This is where we're at. We're literally at this point of idiocracy where we think putting these fucking synthetic, colorful water liquids on the ground is what's actually growing the plants.
So
Nobody understands
the advanced nutrients organic line that I used. All of it smells horrible. It's all really earthy. It's all chunky brown, green.
Yeah, well, I guess I wasn't more talking about that. You know what I'm talking, like, you know, the
They do have
hydroponic fucking grow bloom, the green and the fucking, you know, like that. You know, that's where we're at though.
Yep.
That's you know, like they were making fun of it in that show, but like that's Gatorade. It's a fucking flavored, colored water that you think is what your plant really needs, and it's just not. No. It's like a synthetic fucking additive that will literally help your plant get to fruition, and then that's it. It's done with the ecosystem.
It's like McDonald's for us. That's how it is for the plant. It's like it's kind of food-ish.
Yeah, food-like product. So when you take a shit, it's not a fucking filled with nutrients. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like
well, your shit is, sorry to talk about shit, guys, but your shit is literally not even really your shit. It's your bacteria's shit. So like the food goes into your gut, the bacteria eats it and breaks it down, and then that excretes into your intestines and everything through your liver. Like, so it's pretty gross.
The transfer of nutrients, though.
Right.
That bacteria is transferring nutrients before it even gets out of our body.
Yep.
There's so many transfers of nutrients in this nutrient cycle that we do not think about, we overlook, and like it's fascinating. You know what I'm saying? Like these food like products get broken down into a substance that's not organic. So now, like if you eat that McDonald's and you go take a shit on the ground, it's not going to decompose right. It's just not. But if you have a correct diet, the fungal network will break down that feces and it will naturally put nutrients back into the ground. It's the cycle of nutrients. It's literally like it's it's like that little fucking circle diagram you saw back in like 5th grade. But that's all it was. That's they showed it to us, but they didn't give it any importance. They didn't give it any value.
Yeah, I mean, school is about indoctrinating us to be good citizens. It's not about teaching us life skills that will help us get further in life or survive without them. They want us to rely on them. Clearly, we've seen that.
Oh yeah, dependency is huge.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what they want though. Like dependency is what you need to have control, right?
I mean, look at the healthcare system. None of these people can fucking take care of themselves, so they're all in the healthcare system.
Yep.
Like, literally tell somebody that they don't need the healthcare system and watch their reaction.
Yeah, when I tell people that I haven't had a primary care doctor since 2009, they look like when I've gone to the hospital a couple times for like shit that I'm like, damn, like this is bad. I don't fucking know what I can do. Like, and when I go, they're like, oh, well, what's your primary care? We'll send them the information. I'm like, I don't have one. Like, what?
I am my primary care doctor.
I should say
I know
that.
the most about my body than anybody. And like that sounds completely ludicrous to a lot of people, but like it doesn't to me because I know exactly how I feel.
I had
know with this information that I'm studying, I can reverse it, I can deplete it, I can literally take herbs that will bind to these toxins and get rid of them in my blood, clean my cells on a cellular level. Like, I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for this. Like, this is just shit that I can find in research, and like people have done it.
right.
Like this Dr. Sebi guy, like he's not even a doctor. He just called himself a doctor. The FDA literally tried to sue him and failed. They failed. They sued him and failed because the judge said, so he put an ad in the New York Times and he said, we have cured lupus, cancer, blindness, etc. Come to our institute and we'll show you how to do this. The fucking FDA literally found that ad, brought him to court, tried to sue him, and the judge said, if you can produce one person that you have cured of any of these illnesses, then, we'll reevaluate this whole thing. The next day, he brought in 70 people that he cured. 70.
Wow.
Of cancer, lupus, blindness, every single disease that he talked about in his ad, he brought somebody that he cured, not just masked, symptoms, cured, like the root problem, cure, what doctors do not do. He cured these people. They were living life again. They came into that courtroom. The judge ruled in favor of Dr. Sebi. The FDA did not win that case. He proved with evidence he cured. Where the hell is that where is that in medicine? Why isn't that on every other fucking TV ad that is getting shoved down my throat for some fucking medicine that's supposed to cure something but has a million fucking side effects that sounds like a used car commercial? Where is this information? And like, why is nobody talking about it?
It's because there's no money in it. If it's not about money, they're not trying to even talk about it.
I mean, aside from everything else, I mean, I think it's just like a suppression. Like, they don't want people coming together to converse and learn and network and bounce ideas off of each other. They think it's only for like business, like networking is only for business.
Yeah.
And like other than that, like, yeah, catch me in the bar room and we'll be fucking drunk talking about something. Like, where is the networking talking about how to like get everybody on a different level?
Right.
Like, I went to school with kids that are literally fucking laughing at me for what are the shit I'm trying to do right now, while I'm literally reading their fucking Facebook posts and it's saying like, oh, I don't even fit into my fucking clothes like after COVID. And it's like, well, that's a clear fucking sign of unhealthiness. You're unhealthy if you're overweight. You don't fit into your clothes anymore because you just took a year off not doing shit because the government told you to sit in your house. That's a problem.
Right.
The whole thing is a problem.
Yeah.
Like your self-confidence, like the will to not even say like, why the fuck am I staying at home? Like not even the will to think that. What is going on? Like seriously, what is going on? Like if this was actually real and I thought this way and like people were fucking dropping like flies before the vaccine, then I would be like, yeah, this shit is fucking, this is wrong. I got COVID in March 2020. I was in bed for 3 fucking days. I tried to walk up a set of stairs and I literally had to bend over and gasp for air. It was a severe respiratory problem. It's the only time I've been sick since I've been plant-based. But I literally fasted for 3 days and drank water and it was done, gone. I've been around people that had the vaccine that have got it. I've been around people at my job that have it.
And haven't gotten it again.
Never. Not even sick, not even a cough.
Yeah.
Like, I like it.
Really don't.
That these herbs and fruits and vegetables and the science behind them, when they're working at homeostasis, there is no fucking way. There is no way for that to take over your body. There's no way. It infiltrated my body. My immune system handled it in 3 days because I did not put anything else into my body besides water. I starved it. There's no way for that to live. And that's how you cure the common cold. You literally have the common cold. If somebody has a common cold that's listening to this, or the next time you get the common cold, drink water and lemon for 3 days, 2 to 3 days. It's going to be the biggest mental battle you've ever had in your entire life, but do not eat food for 2 days. Your body will literally eat what is making you sick and you will shit it out. Like you're saying, those microorganisms will transfer those nutrients because there's an imbalance of bacteria. That's why you're getting sick. Your gut bacteria is on the verge of going from good bacteria to bad. So when you starve it out, the good bacteria takes over. You have people going to the doctors, paying copays, getting fucking antibiotics for the common cold.
Yeah.
You have too much shit in your system. You're over putting shit into your body. You need to stop.
When I have a cold or I feel like I have the sniffles, allergies, something like that, I just take like a swig of elderberry and then drink water and just go about life normally. I'm like, I'm fine. And then like an hour later, I feel fine.
Well, the elderberry is, where the fuck did I just write that? Removes mucus from your upper respiratory system and lungs and increases your urine flow and induces sweating. So like it's perfect for detox.
Dude, hold on a second. My whole life, I'm 31. My whole life until like maybe in the last year, I never sweat normally. Like I would just overheat, I just wouldn't sweat. And the past 2 seasons, like that, my fiance has been making elderberry syrup, and
I've been seeing it.
and I take it pretty much daily. I just take it preventative now. I'm like, fuck
Yeah,
it, why not? You know, we have so much of it. Like,
yeah.
I just fucking take some of it preventative every day, and I sweat now. What the fuck?
It's inducing sweating, which is a secretion. It's removing toxins from your body. You know, like like spitting up phlegm, or if like mucus is coming out of some, wound or something, that's a detoxification process happening.
Mhm.
Mucus is getting removed from your body.
Yep.
When there's a buildup of mucus in any of your organs, that's going to cause disease. That's going to cause cancer of the thyroid. That's going to cause cancer of the pancreas. It's wherever that mucus buildup is where the concentrated disease is what it's called. It's all, the root problem is the same. It's just where it ends up building up in your body.
So many times, and even like pre-COVID, I'd go somewhere like a family gathering or something where I'm hugging people, smoking with people, all this shit, and I won't feel good, and I'll feel like that clammy feeling in my throat, and it's
Mhm.
gross, but I'll just like hawk
Yep.
it up, all of it, and spit it out, and I feel 80% better
I
because
mean,
it's all
I
trapped
mean,
inside of the mucus.
what is it, like eucalypt, like if you've ever taken like a steam bath or something, they say to put the eucalyptus in there, and that's what it's breaking up the mucus in your respiratory tract.
Yep.
That's what it's doing. Like it's it's amazing that these herbs, once your cells are cleaned on a cellular level, like once they're cleaned, as in like a fast and a detox, there's no impurity in your cell. So at that point, you can start taking these herbs, and they will literally go right to these certain areas. Each herb is, specific for a certain area of your body. And they all have like anti-inflammatory, like they all hold these phytonutrients, which are, huge roles in like our hormone production. And most synthetic drugs are synthetic recreations of photochemicals, which you find in plants.
And
So,
bacteria and stuff like.
but like a plant has fucking hundreds and hundreds of photochemicals, if not thousands. So like when that goes into your body, they're all just dispersing into everywhere and all working together. Like you take that synthetic drug that recreated one photonutrient, that's not going to fucking do anything. It's like CBD isolate. That's not going to fucking do anything. You need
Right.
a whole fucking cannabinoid profile. You think of fucking CBD isolate salt is going to fucking, you need the whole cannabinoid profile in order to work at that synergistic level and bring a real medicinal value. Like,
Right.
you have like, okay, I mean, how many cannabinoids do they know of right now? Like it's over 30 or 50. I'm not even 100, but it's 20 something, right? Or
Well, they say there's 140 cannabinoids, but they only know what like 20 of them do.
okay, all right, yeah. So you're telling me that you're going to isolate one of those and that's going to be as good as all of them working together?
Right. Yeah.
Because everything that I'm reading says that needs to be diversity to have a synergistic effect
Yep.
of almost anything. Like you have a more diverse cover crop, your plant is going to grow more vigorously. It's going to have a synergistic effect.
Yep.
If you take 3 to 4 different herbs at the same time, it's going to have a higher medicinal value than just taking one. So when you literally go into fucking cannabis oil and you isolate one compound, how the fuck do you get any medicinal aspect out of that? And like I've even heard people taking like a 5,000 milligram tincture CBD isolate and they get sick
Yeah.
because you're overloading your system with CBD.
I get a migraine. I've only had isolate really once, and I like had like 250 milligrams of it and got a migraine. I took it because I got attacked by a dog and bit on my ribs and shit.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, I took it for pain, and it made me worse pain because it added a migraine and didn't do anything for my ribs. And then I
Yeah.
came home. I finally got home from doing a couple events and everything, and I was able to rub my salve on it, and
Yeah.
then take some CBD of mine that's full spectrum. And within 20 minutes, I only took like 50, 60 milligrams. Within 20 minutes, my pain was like 80% better. I was like, oh my God. And that was when it like clicked in my head, like, oh my God, isolate's not the way to go.
It's just, I mean, it's just the there's just a lack of education and information, like it's the end consumer doesn't know. They're not, they're not educated. It's not their fault. Like I just said, it's an industry emerging out of the black market. If you weren't fucking in the know, then you don't know. So like people that think it's cool to go to the dispensary and buy a 5-pack of joints, like that's convenience for them. That's fucking cool. The idea of it is very cool.
Hmm.
But it needs to be better. It just overall everything needs to go in a different direction, I feel like.
I completely agree. Life has gotten like too far into the matrix. It feels like like everybody just is okay with how everything is, and okay with somebody telling them what to do, and it's just weird to me because I've never been like that my whole entire life. Like I've always been the kid that's kind of like, I don't know if you should be telling me what the fuck to do. Like to like teachers and people like that, because I'm like, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if you should be yelling at me like that. Like you're not that kind of fucking person.
I mean, my parents were they just really put it in like, watch people. Like watch them. Don't listen to them too, but watch them. Watch what they do. Because that will tell you way more than anything that'll come out of their mouth.
Yep.
And it's like, how many fucking pictures, videos have you seen of people in power not fucking wearing a mask with a servant fucking in the background wearing a mask?
Or they're not wearing it. They're like shooting the shit, hugging each other, talking, all that, and then they take a picture and put it on.
It's
Like what is
bullshit.
going on, really? Like
It's literal bullshit. It's do as I say, not as I do. And if you're not gonna fucking do it, then neither am I.
yeah.
And like I'm gonna make my own decision anyways. I'm not just gonna do something because you're doing it, you know?
Right.
But like it, it's just I don't even it's
Yo, have you seen the fake masks?
well, they're like like see-through, like they're like G-string kind of things.
So I gotta fly to Minnesota in May, and I have a feeling shit's still gonna be like this in May
Oh fuck.
because they definitely want it to be. So
I'm not I'm not going on a fucking plane ever again, I don't think. Oh yeah, that's fucking fire. Yeah, that's perfect. That's fucking good. Yeah, I can't even fucking I mean, I probably could go on a plane, but I like the last time I flew on a plane was that trip to Texas I was telling you about.
yeah.
When we flew out there, I fell asleep with my mask on. Like, well, we were making a big fucking stink about it. They wouldn't let us out of the plane without them. So we were like, all right, fuck it, whatever. We're trying to go on vacation. So I fell asleep on the plane and I was like aggressively woken up by two stewardess and they were like wicked upset. Like they were like, so my mask had literally was in between my nostril and my fucking mustache. Like I had fallen asleep and I was shaken in my seat, woken up, told that I need to put my mask on immediately, like immediately. And I was like, what? Like I was like waking up. I was like, oh fuck. And I was like, and obviously I was being a dick, so I was just like, yeah, like I'll fucking do it. Like I'll do it. And then they were like, then they started like saying my name, and I was like, oh fuck. They're like looking me up and shit. Like this isn't good. And then sure as shit, we land. And they immediately fucking evacuated me off the fucking plane. I went to I got pulled off the plane. I was told that if I were to fly with American again, that they're gonna either decline my payment for a ticket, or they would allow me to buy the ticket. And like they basically told me that they would harass me to the point that like I would miss my flight. They were like I was like, what? I was like, this is all because I fell asleep and my mask fell below my nose. And he was like, yeah, well, other people were saying that like you weren't like obeying. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, this is and then like then I started to get like pissed. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. And I was like, it's like some little fucking guy like telling me something that I didn't do on the plane. And I was like, all right, listen, dude, like, fuck off, first of all. Like, and second of all, like, I can fucking drive here if I want. Like, your airline doesn't mean shit to me. You know, like, you banning me and telling me that you're gonna harass me next time I try to buy a ticket from your company literally doesn't make me want to fly in a fucking plane at all ever again. I'll fucking get in my car and take an extra 3 days to get to wherever I'm going to go meet somebody. I will literally not go on a fucking plane. Like I definitely won't fly American. Like until all this bullshit is over. Like, I mean, even after, I mean, it's the same fucking bullshit with 9/11. Like right after 9/11, now all of a sudden you have to fucking go through an X-ray machine to get on a fucking plane. What is that? That shit fucks up your DNA. There's nurses that literally take fucking X-rays for a living, and they don't even stand in the fucking room.
Yeah, and they wear a vest like in the other room.
Yeah. There's fucking business people that travel every fucking day on planes that go through those things.
Yeah. And then they get cancer and you wonder why.
Yeah, fuck cancer, right?
Yeah.
It's insane. It's literally fucking insane. Like I've said it 100 times. I've been to a bunch of funerals, people that died of cancer. I'll never say that again. I'll go straight up to somebody and say, you need to change your fucking diet. You're literally, that's what's wrong. And there's so much proof that will literally explain why they have cancer of a certain area in their body.
Yep. Yeah, it's a toxic growth. When you think
It's not bad genes. It's not passed down. It's not hereditary.
It's bad eating habits.
It's literally habit.
It's hereditary eating habits is what it is. It's like
it's bad habits that have been passed down. That's all it is. If you want to call that genetics, then it's not, but
hereditary more than genetics.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother fucking always ate hamburgers on Sundays, and that's what we did. That's how we remember grandma. But like, if it's too much, it's killing you. You know what I'm saying? Like if these poor diets that you're associating with memories of past ones to stay close to them, it's actually fucking hurting you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we went to Wendy's after fucking baseball every Saturday. So like, let's do that. We'll continue that tradition to remember Nana.
Yeah.
For what? To start destroying your kid's body? You know what I'm saying? Like it's insane. I grew up that way. I did that. After hockey practice, I went to McDonald's, like after I got my license, I was like, fucking wake up after a fucking party, hungover as shit, and I'm going to get a bacon cheeseburger. It's just what I grew up with. It's what I knew. It's what I did. But I'm alive after 2 years of doing this other way. and like I'm thinking differently. I'm way more proactive about shit. I know way more about what's going on about my body. I can see shit clear as day. You know, like it's just, and these are just side effects of shit that I'm eating. You know, my side effects are positive, they're not negative. And like, I'm not gonna go around fucking preaching a vegan diet, you know, and telling people that they need to do this. I'm just gonna say, hey, if you're fucking sick, this is an option.
Yeah.
And I'm educating myself on it. So I will let you know what I find out, and I will give you the sources that I'm looking into, because I'm not looking to make money off of this. I don't want to see on Facebook somebody's mom just got cancer and 12 people saying I'm sorry and fuck cancer. Be proactive about it. If you don't know and you're in that position, be open to these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like the biggest thing.
Step into that radioactive chamber and induce yourself to chemotherapy. Think of another.
There's at this point, it's like if I was to get cancer, I would immediately hit up my Fico Connect and be like, "Hey, bro, do not tell anybody, but I have cancer," and he would give me whatever it cost him is what I would spend,
Yep.
and I wouldn't spend much out of pocket, maybe a couple grand, and that's it.
Start your regimen.
I'll make sure, I'm eating meat now. I probably wouldn't eat meat. I'd cut that out, and I would immediately fast for 2 to 3 days, like you said, because what happens is when you fast, your body's pH changes. And when your body's pH changes to a more alkaline environment, the cancer has a harder time surviving and can't grow. So what does it do? It shrinks down in order to gain the energy to keep growing. But if you're fasting, so it's like shrinking down because your pH is more alkaline, and then you're attacking it with full extract cannabis oil, and you're drinking a ton of water and eating a healthy diet. You're not feeding the cancer at all. You're not feeding it, and you're beating the shit out of it with the Fico, and
Right.
you beat like half of it by fasting. You know what I mean? So, and I've already seen it work on 2 to 3 people already.
Oh yeah.
One woman.
I mean, it's amazing when somebody accepts it and doesn't cheat it.
Yep.
You know, if they don't cheat, they're only cheating themselves, first of all. So like it doesn't matter to me. You know, I just try to make it as apparent as possible that it's like I don't care what grade you got on your math test, because that doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a job and you need to know that fucking equation and you don't know it, that's what matters.
Exactly. Yeah.
You cheated yourself because you were in a class right there. Somebody was teaching it to you and you chose not to listen. And then you got into the real world and you don't know what the fuck you're doing because you chose not to listen. That's the issue.
Yeah.
You know, like you like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know. I don't even, it's, I don't know. I just get so frustrated with so many things. It's wild.
Same. I see it spill over on your Facebook posts a lot, and same here. That's why, like I said, I think I'm deleting it. Like 6 minutes till October. I'm like looking at the clock because I actually did no sugar September, like zero, no processed sugar. So I had honey and maple syrup. Those were the only like sweeteners I could use for anything. And then
Use
because
agave at all?
no, so agave has the same glycemic index as traditional sugar.
Huh.
So I didn't want to use that. I used the stuff with a lower glycemic index, so it didn't trigger the insulin response so much. And dude, it was so hard. There's sugar in fucking everything, like
Oh yeah.
ketchup, relish. Like I had to buy a special ketchup. I stopped using relish. I use a lot mustard. Mostly doesn't have sugar in it, so like I use that as a condiment. And then it's like, okay, I want to go get a protein bar. All of them have sugar. Fuck.
Everything is sugar. Sugar is the most addictive drug on earth.
Yep. And
Processed sugar is the most addictive drug on earth.
Yep.
Like, it's a fact.
And the most harmful drug on earth.
Yeah. And like, what's fucked up is like, if I'm gonna do a drug, like I would fucking choose any other fucking drug to do than sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, I would go fucking cocaine before I did sugar. Like, sugar's so fucking addictive. It's like 10 times more addictive than fucking cocaine.
I see it with like my daughter when we don't give her a lot of sugar, but once in a while we'll have something, and I could like see how different she is. Just and she wants it. Like that's what she wants. I have pop. Like, no, baby, you can have a fruit jerky. Like it's just like all mango, you know, like
yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I try not to. I mean, I eat a lot of like natural sugar. I eat a lot. I mean, I eat a lot of fruit.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, like that, going back to that study that I was talking about with the mice and the 10% of the calorie intake of the meat. What they also did not promote on the finding of that test was that you could eat as much vegetable and fruits as you wanted without any detrimental growth of cancer cells. There was no turning on cancer cells with an abundance of fruit or vegetables, even with sugar in the fruit. You know what I'm saying? They're like, your body can handle natural sugar even if it's the only thing you're eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, your body processes natural sugar in a completely different way that it does artificial sugar.
Yeah, because of all the fiber and everything too. The fruit is so much more than just the sugar.
And the photochemical, like, they're all working together. That natural sugar gets broken down immediately into something else. And like it's just so, I just literally come back to this because it's just like, it's like my brick wall. I just don't understand how we've gotten this far away from it.
Yeah.
People literally need facts to eat fucking fruits and vegetables. Facts. Like, they're like, no, I don't know if that actually does that. Like, it fucking grows out of the ground. Like, nobody made that fucking thing. It just grows, and we're like naturally attracted to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is that force inside of us, just like it is in animals, just like it is in fish, in cows. They don't just go fucking eat rocks off the ground. Like, they know that there's not fucking anything in that for them. So they go find something with nutrients.
Well, chickens actually eat rocks.
Yeah, well, they're kind of fucking dumb. And chickens are not natural. Chickens are man-made bred. Chickens are not a natural animal.
Huh.
I'm almost 100% sure on that. A chicken is not a natural animal. Like, a chicken was like a breeding project of two birds.
Kind of like how broccoli isn't really a real thing.
Yeah. So that's another thing that Dr. Sebi says a lot, is that there's a hybridization of a lot of food, and that's not good. Like, our bodies are like complex, but they're not that complex, where when you start intermingling these gene sources of multiple species of plants, like, variation is good, but when you start intermingling the DNA and the hybridization of them, that's when things get a little tricky. You're losing the nutrient density. You know, like, now, you know, like, people breeding shit just for flavor or looks or whatever, like, they're like, the nutrient density is going so far down. You know, and it's like, it's insane. Like, they literally, Gabe Brown does a test with a tomato, and it's like literally insane how much more nutrients is in the tomatoes that he's growing on his property than your average conventionally tilled tomato that you'll find at any fucking supermarket.
Yep.
We're talking over 40% more nutrients. That's insanity. Like,
It makes sense just based on even like tilling can just destroy that. Like it's one little thing that you mess up can mess that up. That's mm,
It's all, I mean, like, I know I talked to you about this briefly, but like that whole like flower of life thing in the cycles and the nutrient and the transferring and each cycle having another section of another cycle feed into it, like that's what all of this is on like when you take a step back, like that's what all of this is. These are all different cycles working with each other to make things work right.
literally.
And we are literally just a fucking monkey wrench in that. Like we are literally just fucking it up.
Yeah, like it's like humans keep trying to play God. Like you cannot do what the earth has naturally done. Like I'm
There is
sorry.
a way of how it works. It's clear as day. You know, like there is a natural way things work. There is a natural food source for fucking animals, and there's just like there's like a gravitational pull that brings us along. You know, like
Yep.
when they're saying like, you know, there's like herds of animals going the wrong way or flocks of birds going the fucking wrong way, or like whales are showing up on beaches that are completely healthy. They're just beaching themselves. It's because they're fucking their their magnetic field is getting altered, and their path is being misled. You know, like they work off of a magnetic force, a gravitational force. You know, like we're all energy, we're all energetic beings. So it's like nobody that I know fucking taps into that shit. Everybody fucking wakes up, you know, shuts their alarm off on their phone, puts clothes on, and goes to work.
Yeah.
Nobody's tapping into this fucking energetic field that like we're all made of.
So many people think that I'm so weird in everything that I do, and I'm just like I look at them like you're fucking weird, dude. Like why are you poisoning yourself and just okay with it, dude? Like it's really frustrating, especially when people act like you're being a jerk because you're trying to help them. Like, dude, I don't want you to die. Like I love you. I don't want you to die. I want to teach you this. I'm not being a jerk, but you're going to die early and painfully. Like it's gonna suck.
Oh
So
yeah.
please listen to me. And they just hardly ever do. Some people have. Some people have. But have you seen what's going on with La Palma?
No, I'm checking this out right now as you're fucking playing it.
Dude, intense. So this volcano,
Where are the Canary Islands?
the Canary Islands are
Oh,
outside
Canary Islands.
of Spain, I believe.
Clearly, I'm a farmer. I can't fucking read, pronounce shit.
So this volcano has been erupting for 13 days. 13 days.
15?
Yeah. Yes. And so it's
How
now
big is the island?
let's look it up. How big is 273 square miles. So not very big at all.
No, not big at all.
Um, and where this is, it's gone like 25 miles from the volcano into the water. So now it's like creating like a toxic uh
Oh,
smoke.
nice.
And then you can see it keep spurting up top here.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing, and that thing's shooting like probably 200, 300 feet in the air. And then down below, if you notice that there's another one that just popped up yesterday. So there's like a brand new spot. So it's almost like it's cracking. And some people are speculating that if enough of these popped up, they're saying that this volcano eruption might go for 3 months. They're saying that like it's caused like
Is this on like a continental divide or something?
I'm not sure, but the volcano it must be, and in the volcano eruption is causing earthquakes. So the earthquakes are making it worse. and they're saying that a piece of the island could break off that's the size of Manhattan. And if that happened, it would hit the water and cause like 200-foot tidal waves all the way over here.
What is that fucking movie with Jake Gyllenhaal? The fucking end of the world movie.
Oh,
Where
something.
those fucking tidal waves come and hit New York. That's probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's if it actually
That's
broke
fucked
off.
up.
Yeah, man. I've been just watching this for like the past 2 weeks. Just like some days it'll calm down, and then like it's just like fuck. At night it just seems to get active again. I don't know what it is.
Somebody just said on the comments, it goes, it seems more angry tonight.
It does. It's just it's fucking. It looks like
That's
the
fucking
lava's pouring out.
How long does a volcano usually like erupt for?
I don't know. I'm gonna look that up too.
Excuse my ignorance on volcanoes.
Right. How long does a volcano eruption last? There are many examples of volcanoes which show some sign of renewed danger and then erupt within an hour, though more commonly within one day. Most eruptions last hours, but some continue for weeks and months.
That's a pretty big stretch from most are hours long to weeks to months.
Wait, the median length of time for a single eruption is 7 weeks.
Holy shit.
And dude, like if you watch the camera, once in a while you'll see it shake violently, and it's just another earthquake. And like let me turn on the audio if the audio's playing. Oh yeah, it is. You hear that?
That's fucking crazy.
Just sounds like explosions going off.
Do you think that might have to do with all the fucking nukes that we're testing off of the fucking coast of Florida?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, man. We're fucking up the earth. We're fucking up the whole balance of the earth. We really are. And yeah, the earth is sick of us, I think. I think I really do
We're
think
like annoying flies fucking flying around the ass of a cow.
Joe Rogan said it perfectly in one of his stand-up comedies from 2006. He said that we are fungus on we are the mold on the bread. That's exactly what we are. If you look at Los Angeles from an aerial view, it doesn't look pretty. It looks like a big fungus on the earth. Like it wasn't supposed to be there.
Flying into LA is you literally go through the smog.
Yep.
It's gross.
It's better than getting struck by lightning. I flew into London, and we got struck by lightning twice on the way down.
What?
Yeah, bro. We were descending, and we went like just below the clouds, and then all of a sudden, like there was like this crack sound, and then the plane went dark for like a half a second, and then it like flickered back on, and it just didn't seem right for a second, and then everything was okay, and we landed, and they were like, "Hey, so just wanted to let you guys know that we did get double struck by lightning there on that landing. It was a little bit rough. Sorry about that, folks. Had to do what I could to make sure we landed safely." And I'm just like, did we almost just die?
I would have been like, I need a boat fucking ticket for my ride home.
Dude,
fucking
going home we were petrified, dude. We were so petrified. Like, I used to be able to sleep on planes, but like, I don't know. I've now, like, if you look into plane accidents, the majority of them happen within the first 5 minutes of takeoff and the last like 8 minutes before landing. So like the flight isn't really the issue; it's the takeoff and landing. It's that it's like push.
And once you're up there, you're good.
Exactly.
Unless you run out of fuel.
Yeah, and even then you could probably coast for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, holy shit. I haven't looked up at the clock once. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh shit. Yeah, I didn't even notice that there's a counter up there.
Hilarious. That's funny though. Like all 5 episodes this season have gone over 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean it's just when you're just, talking about shit that actually
matters.
has value, and you can actually have a conversation and discuss topics. It's not just fucking regurgitated bullshit.
Yeah, I feel like we're on the precipice of some major things. Like I oh wow, damn.
This thing's crazy. I'm about to just put this on my fucking computer and fucking watch this.
It's kind of relaxing in a sense. Like
It's like a dope ass screensaver.
yeah. Yo, I
But
should
it's
put
fucking crazy what this is doing though. This has been going on for 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. It's fucking crazy. And it's getting
Dude, I
worse.
thought I just heard that. Somebody just said there was a weird sound, and somebody said it was a rooster.
Rooster.
You didn't hear that?
I heard it, but I was like,
Right
oh,
there. It just did it again.
because I think it's daytime because that shit's so bright. It thinks it's the sun coming up. It's confused.
I actually had to fucking get rid of our rooster because we got 6 chickens and one of them ended up being a rooster.
Oh, that's when you just sneakily don't tell them and you end up with more babies by accident.
Yeah. Well, he was going off at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and then at like 3:30 in the morning. So like somebody was gonna call.
Oh.
So
Yeah, there's no sneaking a rooster, really. They're fucking.
no. I just had to fucking take care of him and turned into dog food. It's sad, but it's transferring nutrients. That nutrient cycle. I fed that thing really good and it had a nice organic life. And then after he passed, he fed the dogs. And then the dogs shit on the ground and fed the fucking fungal network. And we're on our way to cycling nutrients.
Did your dog eat it raw? Like, did you let it kill it?
No. I butchered him and then I cooked them dinner.
Oh, okay.
That's actually the first time I've touched meat in fucking 2 years.
And you did it for your. Was it freaky?
No, I mean I don't have like a. I'm not like. I didn't go vegan for the animals. I did for my health benefit. Like I think it's fucking insane that people literally go to like fucking like animal auctions and like protest as like vegan. Like I think that's just too. I mean, people are gonna fucking do what they want to do. You don't need to be forcing your fucking opinion on other people. Like I literally just saw there's like this thing that it's like a vegan like they protest like meat shit. Like they literally go stand at like a butcher's market, like dressed in like fake blood, holding like a pig head. They do shit like that. And then like this last one that they posted was literally this girl ran into a fucking ring at like a rodeo show and was like, they're gonna fucking kill all these animals and all this shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And then like literally one of the fucking ranchers straight up like gives this girl a wedgie and like tosses her out of the ring. And I was like, oh my God. I was like,
lassos her up like a fucking horse.
yeah, I was like, I mean, I'm doing this for my health. I'm not fucking preaching this on anybody else. If somebody else wants to try it and go along these lines, and that's great. I would love that. But like I am in no way, shape, or form to be convincing and fucking telling people what they need to be doing with their bodies. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I fully believe in this. I do. But if you don't, I'm not going to press it on you ever. It's not who I am. It's not what I do. It's not, like I'll be like, yeah, this will be here if you're ready at some point.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm not jumping into a fucking ring and yelling at everybody that's fucking there to fucking eat a hamburger and watch a rodeo. That's insane.
And then there are some crazy vegans that like they only eat stuff that naturally falls off. Like you can't pick it at all.
Dude, that's crazy that you said that because I literally just found out about that the other day and I was like, that is ridiculous. Like that is literally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like no harm, like you're not even picking the fruit off the plant. Like I'm pretty sure the plant is there and growing food, so you pick it off.
Exactly.
I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. Who the hell am I to fucking say that? Yeah, that's why like I always come down to that, like if I'm like arguing or like fucking like in a like heated fucking discussion or whatever, I'm like, like before I get too angry, I'm just like, I don't know. Like if I really don't know, I will just be like, I don't know. I've never done it. I've never seen somebody do it.
Mhm.
I don't know. I physically have no idea because like people will be like, oh well, like you believe in all this crazy shit. What do you think? Like the Earth is flat? And I was like, I have no fucking idea. I've never been outside of this. I have no fucking idea if a flat piece of land is what we're on or a fucking globe in the middle of nothing. I have no idea. I've never been higher than a fucking 737 brings me. And I'm looking out of a fucking 2-inch by 6-inch window. That's not enough for me to fucking tell whether we're on a flat earth or a globe or in somebody's pocket in some other fucking universe. Like, I don't know. I have no fucking idea. And I'm not going to pretend like I do know.
Yeah, that's what I hate is like settled science is not real science. If your science is settled, it's not real science. Science is about disproving the science that you have thought you proven in order to have a better idea of why you proved it in the first place. That is what science is supposed to be about. And it's turned into this thing where it's like, no, it's absolute. This is the way it is. And then when it
Yeah.
changes in 6 months, it's like, now this is absolute. This is the way it is. And people still believe it. I'm like,
There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I mean, like, I don't, why is your way the only way? Why is the healthcare system the only system?
yeah.
Why is the education system the only system? Why, like, you literally can't even not go to fucking school if you're a
Why,
kid.
why, why
You
can't
have
you
to
find
go.
a
You have to go to school. You either have to get homeschooled, or you have to go to public school, or you have to go to a private school. You
Yep.
have to. Your parents can literally go to fucking jail for not sending your kid to school.
Yep.
Like, you're
Yeah.
telling me that there's another way? Well, what is it? And how am I going to do that without getting fucking jailed and taxed?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in the works of we're talking with somebody right now. We're trying to basically build like a community center, like a trade based community center, so you can learn mechanics, fishing, business, farming, plumbing, electrical, creating a knowledgeable workforce, not an obedient one, a knowledgeable one. Like there's electricians in our town that need help.
Yeah. Badly.
There's carpenters in town that need help. People need help. This younger generation and the other people in my generation and even the generation above that have conformed to this dependency, there's no skill, there's no will to do anything anymore.
Yep.
Like everybody just got paid for a year and a half to literally sit on their ass and do nothing, stimulate nothing. You literally just stimulated the fucking worst economy in the world.
Yeah.
Like what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, oh, well, like people, the work, it's not the work shortage, the labor force isn't the shortage. It's like what they're paying. And it's like, well, they're fucking in charge of the inflation rate too.
Yep.
How the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like My company cannot afford to pay somebody over like $18 an hour. Like, we just don't have the money. We don't make enough money to pay somebody like that.
Yep.
But how am I supposed to hire somebody for $15 to $18 an hour when inflation is fucking going up by the second?
Yep. Yeah, right now, especially, it's been nuts. It's been nuts, dude.
I mean, rent is fucking $1,500 on the low end. $1,500.
Yeah, most mortgages are less than that.
I mean, when I first started working 6-7 days a week, I was making $500-$600 a week. If I was doing that now, I would have to work 3 weeks to pay rent.
Yeah. Yep.
3
Never
weeks.
mind, never mind everything else.
Never mind everything else in my life, like I want to have one. What am I supposed to do with 1 week's worth of pay? What am I supposed to do with $500? How am I supposed to save? How am I supposed to buy food? How am I supposed to get gas? How am I supposed to live? Not to mention, I have to pay electricity on the house that I'm paying rent at, water bill. It's insane. It's fucking insane. So like, and then I preach, like, you know, shortening your supply chain, you know, growing your own stuff, making your own stuff. And then people fucking hit me with, people hit me with, well, oh, not everybody has space to grow food. Fucking bullshit, dude. I just rented 2 acres for $200 for 12 months.
Wait, what?
Go on Google and type in the average cost of leased farmland. It's like $165 for the year.
What the fuck?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't tell me you can't fucking do it. I've seen you spend more at the bar in one night. You know? You telling me you don't have room to do it? Word, we'll go rent land for $150 a year.
I need to
And you
find
can fucking grow whatever you want.
Dude, I'm paying so much more than that per acre.
I mean, that's like that was the national average. That's like, I mean, we agreed to pay $200 an acre just because, like, I didn't believe it. Like, I literally didn't believe it. I was like, I feel bad. Like, I want to give you $200 an acre. So like, I paid $400 for the year for 2 acres.
Wow.
So like, you know what I'm like? It's I'm not satisfied when somebody puts up these blockers and saying like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, well, you didn't try. Don't tell me it can't be done, because I was in your position. I lived in a fucking tent for 4 months and I was still growing my own food. You know, like, I didn't have a house to live in. I was literally living in a fucking tent, getting up, going and working a carpentry job, coming home, watering my weed plants while I had 3 dogs. Like, I don't really tell many people that. That's not like a highlight of my past.
Yeah.
But like, I had to work through it. I had to do it. I had to, because like, I'm not okay with going into a city and paying $600 a month to live in a fucking tenement. I'm not going to do that. I would literally rather live in the woods, and I did. And after fucking 4 or 5 months, I saved up enough and I found a place that allowed me and my 3 dogs. And it started over from there. People are scared to go to rock bottom and start over.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I don't embrace it, but I mean, it happened and it fucking made me who I am now. You know,
It's definitely
rock bottom is the most solid fucking place to stand up. I'll tell you that. You know, seriously, when you fall down and you're on rock bottom, that is the most solid place to literally stand on your feet and be like, this is who I am. Look at myself in the mirror. This is as low as it low gets right here. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to go up from here. And like, I went through that. And I'm at where I'm at. And I believe in this shit. And like, that's why I'm very passionate about it. You know, I'm not going to shove it down your throat, but I will sit here and talk to you for 4 hours about it if you want to.
Right.
You know? So like that's just like, you know, why we do what we do, why I do what I do. And just, you know, I just don't accept the fact of what they're telling us, and it's pretty apparent that it's not true.
Yeah, on so many levels, on our health, on what's going on currently in the current day, on the science behind everything, on the suppression of the good things going on, and the divisiveness. It's a weird time to be alive, especially like I have children, and having children, it's like it brings a whole different level to it of like preparedness that you have to have
I
right
couldn't,
now.
I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine if I had a kid right now, I would be in the fucking. The police would probably have to pull me out of the fucking school meetings. There's no fucking way I would send a kid into a school like that right now.
Yep.
Rochester Memorial is literally saying that until they get 80% vaccination rate, that's when they can drop the masks. What does that have to do with anything when half of the fucking people can still get COVID?
Yeah. Hey, you want to know a funny story?
What is that 80% mark? Where did that come from? Who is saying that? At what point when we hit 80% is it fucking okay now? It doesn't make any sense.
So my friend went to a wedding, right? My friend is like us. She didn't get jabbed. She doesn't want to. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm good, right? So she goes to a wedding, and the person who's getting married said, in order to come, because you guys are the only ones that are coming that are not vaccinated, you have to get a negative test. So her and the four people she was with all got tests. They were negative, and they went to this wedding, and everybody ended up with COVID. So how did that happen? If everybody there was vaccinated, isn't that supposed to protect us against it? So is it really just shedding the live spike protein and creating a new variant, aka the Delta variant, and they're blaming it on the unvaccinated because they've convinced everybody that they're a hero if they put it in their body? It's really fucked up, honestly.
I mean, just sit back and look. I mean, it's clear as day. I mean, Israel is the biggest country Israel is the country with the biggest rollout plan of vaccines. They also have the biggest death toll following the fucking vaccine. Like, I don't know what else you can physically put in front of somebody's fucking face for them to not understand what is going on.
Yeah. It's
I really don't. Like, at this point, they will not believe anything. You could literally fucking cut yourself and pull blood out of yourself and say, this is blood. And they'll have a fucking paragraph to tell you why it's probably not.
See, and I think the problem is, I think a lot of people are messed up hormonally. It's like, even most vegan people aren't like you. They don't eat whole foods and eat like a mostly clean diet. You know, they're eating these processed fake meats and all this shit that's just as bad as eating meat. And it's like, you're doing it wrong. Like, that is not the right way to vegan. You're vegan.
When I first started, I ate a lot of that shit, and I felt like shit. And I was like, this is even worse than what I was doing before. And then it was like, I got to go into Whole Foods. I have to be actually doing this. I can't say I'm vegan and be eating a fake fucking hamburger. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, what does that say about me? Like, I want to get healthier, but I still crave the taste of fucking meat. You know, like, for me, for like my process and thinking of like me going down this avenue as a way of health, then why am I masking it with like a fake burger? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to move away from meat, and what am I doing? I'm eating a meatless fucking burger. You know, like, my girlfriend makes amazing like veggie pat. Like, we make them with like real whole foods. Like, those are different. but like an Impossible Burger, like I used to eat those and like I would feel like shit. I'd be
Absolutely.
like, what am I doing? Why am I fucking eating these? But I was like associated it with like, oh my God, like I've eaten those my whole life. And like now that somebody's put a vegan label on it, I'll fucking eat one.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, this is going backwards. It's going backwards from the idea of why I'm doing this.
It's familiar to you, so it makes it
Yeah,
easier.
100%. It's super easy for me to look at a fucking pack of veggie dogs and be like, yeah, I'll fucking put some ketchup and mustard on one of those things and fucking eat it. It's like, no. Yeah, it's got a lot of soy protein in it, but it's got a lot of fucking saturated fucking processed shit in it too.
Soy is another thing that's horrible for like men, testosterone.
Oh yeah, kills testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
And all of these vegan fucking meat things all of them are soy protein. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's fucked up is that protein from beans, not beans, peas actually has more protein than soy.
Hmm.
And peas do not have that testosterone draining effect.
Mm.
So like they could be cultivating peas on a mass scale and be making these fucking fake saturated things and it would be a little bit better. But they're using soy for a reason. It goes back into this whole fucking thing. Like they're trying to like, why is there fluoride in our water?
Yep.
Oh, because it's good for your teeth. Well, no, it calcifies them. That's like it does the complete opposite. It does not help.
Mm-hmm.
Fluoride will literally fuck your body up. Like, and it's in every fucking town water. Like, the United States government signed a fucking deal to add fluoride to the water.
Yep.
Fluoride comes from the byproduct of fucking chemical fertilizers.
Mm-hmm. That were introduced in Nazi Germany.
And they want you to think it's fluorate, which is a natural substance. Like they literally want you to think it's fluorate, but it's not. Fluoride is terrible. It's a byproduct. It is a chemical byproduct. It's not natural. Fluorate is natural.
Yeah.
So it's just like I mean, again, like I fucking failed chemistry. I failed biology. I didn't do that shit in high school. I was smoking weed and fucking playing hockey. Like now that I'm talking about this shit and learning about it, like the people that I grew up with are like, who the fuck are you? Like, listen to you talk now. Like you literally couldn't even get out of fucking 10th grade English. And it's true. I didn't want to. I want to learn about this stuff. Like this is a direct effect on my health and how I'm thinking and how I'm acting. And if I can prove it myself in my body, I know anybody can do it. Like I used to be overweight. I had a fucking chipmunk fucking face, like fat, like I have no fat on my body. I literally couldn't keep it. If I ate a piece of fat, I wouldn't keep it on my body. Like literally, like it's insane. I'll fucking eat all day and I literally won't gain a pound. It's insane. My metabolism is so fast. And like I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it's been like that for a very long time. Like my metabolism is like stupid fast.
It's a struggle. It's definitely something people don't talk about either, is like the struggle of like people are always like, oh, you said it's so hard to gain weight, like just eat more. I'm like, it's not that fucking simple, dude. Like it's literally like, okay, I could eat all the food in the world, but my body is going to process it so fast
Yeah.
that it's just going to use what I can for energy and store some for more energy to break more food down. And it's people just don't get it. People don't get it. It's this one size fits all mentality, and it's really dangerous.
Yeah. And you posted a video a while back of the Gary V, and I've actually mentioned this multiple times when I've been talking to people about shit like this. he says something where it's not a this isn't an or world, it's not this or that, it's
Yep.
an and, like, and I love that. I love that philosophy, like we can both do this, this and that, not this or that. That's just basic mentality of like what's going on with the vaccine. Why can't I have natural immunity and you have your vaccine?
Yep. It's always the way it's been.
Why can't I have that? That they're literally mandating that cannot be that can't happen. Like why? So like it's just I just love that. I love that mentality, that mindset. Just, being just like the idea of two people doing two different things and coexisting, creating diversity. Imagine how we came back to that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's true though. You know what I'm saying? Like it all comes, like these concepts all come back and they're all relative and they're all on different levels of consciousness, understanding, physical being. Like they all come together at some point, like they either reference each other or they help each other. Like I said, we're one hell of a monkey wrench. We throw ourselves right in the middle of it and we fuck it up real good.
Yeah, like I said, I think we just try as humans to control too much. Like,
For sure.
I think that's what the beauty of like this volcano is. Like, I just clicked back over to it and it was fucking shooting big plumes of like fiery balls in the air. Like, and I just look at it and there's no controlling that. There's nothing us as humans can do to control that, and there's nothing we as humans can do to control if a piece of that island breaks off into the ocean. It's just there's nothing we can do to stop a tidal wave. Like it's like so it's really humbling sometimes, hopefully for the people that need the humbling, to realize that you as a human are not shit. And I think I see another one popping up. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out after.
Yeah, I'll send you the link for it's pretty much been this channel. And then I've been following this other guy that lives on the Canary Islands and he's been sending videos and stuff on YouTube. So yeah, a lot of the people that I follow that had like a lot of good facts about everything with the vax and whatnot, that led me to the decision to not get it. Those people are the ones that are saying, and one of the guys especially, he studies like the seismic activity in the earth and what it means, and the polar shifts that are happening with the earthquakes that are happening around the world. And because you can literally there's like different equipment that you can use to measure all that.
Yeah,
he said that this is major but nothing to worry about quite yet. And he's like, there is a chance that it could break off, but it's not a major concern quite yet. It's like that
would be wild.
Yeah. I don't even know, man. Fucking A. I couldn't imagine if I lived there. I'd be outie. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I lived on an island that was exploding.
That's crazy.
I literally don't even know what I would do.
What can you do? It's like
run. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because that shit's going right into the fucking ocean. Where do you get on a boat?
Yeah.
Outrun fucking magma.
Yeah, I feel like everybody that's on that chunk of island is just immediately like dead.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna crash. Oh my god. I can't even. if you look at the way the Canary Islands look too, it looks like that's happened before. Like it just looks like
Oh, I'm
big
sure.
chunks of the island have just fallen off right into the ocean. But yeah, holy shit. I gotta do some work tonight too.
Yeah, no, I still gotta go put the chickens and the ducks away. They'll probably think it's fucking morning time.
Oh no, yeah, you definitely gotta. He's putting the chickens away at 1 a.m. They're so confused.
Yeah, no, that'll be fine.
They probably already put themselves away if you left
Oh,
it
they're
open.
right at dusk. They're in the coop. All I have to do is just go shut it.
Oh, okay. So
So I'm actually getting a photosensitive eye for the coop on wheels that I'm building. So like the second the sun comes up, it'll hit the eye and open the door, and then they'll just go out. And then as soon as that dusk comes and the light goes away, the door will close. So like it'll close a little after dusk. So like the chickens should like kind of go in, and then like it waits like 10, 20 minutes and then it shuts.
how long until a coyote figures out that schedule? He's like, oh wait, the sun.
Fucking quickly. Hopefully they won't come into the fucking electric fence area though.
True. Oh, so the electric fence is more for the other animals than your chickens.
Yeah, well, like when I move them to the field, like they'll like the door will open up and then the chickens will come out, and the area that they come out into will be like an already like penned in area with an electric, like a movable electric fence that I can move every day. Like when I say I was like gonna split the whole 2 acres into 24 sections, like there's only one fence that I move 24 times with the chicken coop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like I'll put the chickens in, pull them up 100 feet, stop, and then I move the fence to that new area. So they'll just in like a new, like a new pasture technically.
I'm super interested in that because I definitely would like to incorporate it in. So I'm following along with that journey, hella, because I know how to take care of chickens, and especially when you have what you're doing, you don't even need to really take care of them. You just got to clean them, like once in a while. Like,
Oh yeah, and then I mean, all that chicken shit is fertilizer.
yep.
I mean, I'm building a gutter system on the coop that's going to be attached to like a float valve and like a filter. So basically, I'm going to catch rainwater on because I built a lean-to style roof, so I get the whole square footage of the roof.
Hmm.
And then the water will go down into the gutter, go into like a 55-gallon drum with like a filter on top. And then I'm going to plumb that into the coop, into their water feeder on a float valve. So like once the water goes down a certain amount, the float valve will kick on, the water will fill back up, stop before it overflows, and then that'll just feed itself from the water tank from the gutter system outside. So like I'm trying to not do like literally fucking anything to these birds. Like I want them to live a completely natural life. They're going to be drinking rainwater and they're going to be eating produce and cover crops and insects. And that's it. I'm not feeding them steroids. I'm not altering the light cycle for them to produce through winter. We're not adding steroids. They're completely 100% organic, like beyond organic. Like I'm not even using additives. There is no additives. There is nothing that we can check for like an EPA number or whatever. Like we're just not using anything.
Yeah, it's literally that simple too. Less work, less cost. It's like it goes back to what you were saying about people are excited about having high yields, but you out profit them because it's like people care about quality over quantity. I mean, they care about quantity over quality, and it's so ass backwards.
Yes.
But dude, this has been fucking awesome. I definitely got to get you on here again. I gotta come by the farm ASAP.
Come check out this chicken coop, and we'll come by the farm and we'll hang out, talk
Fuck yeah.
power.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, for everybody that is going to listen to this afterwards and watch this afterwards and that's watching now, where can people find you?
So we can be found on social media, Facebook, Instagram, at Baygrown Farms. It's BAYGROWN_farms. We're based out of Massachusetts, South Coast, and we have a website as well. It's baygrownfarms.org. And we have just like a lot of information on CBD, you know, what it does to your body. And also, you know, our CBD products are on there as well. But, you know, again, if you've been listening for the last 3 hours, you know, we're very involved in the education and the information. So you'll find a lot of that on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you guys for listening or watching. And as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever